Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to ReelTok, episode 142. Your eyes are not deceiving you. There are four co-hosts of the ReelTok podcast in one episode, and Seth has Glupshido background and Glupshido
Jet
t-shirt.
Porkins.
Jet
Porkins,
Porkins.
baby.
Damn, this might be our first episode, all four of us, since like the awards. I could be wrong on that, but I feel like it's been a while, so this is awesome. It's great. We've saved it for a big episode. We're talking the Final Reckoning, which obviously the concluding film to a almost 30-year franchise. A part of me wishes they had released the Final Reckoning next year so that we could just call it a 30-year franchise instead of a 29-year, almost 30-year franchise. But we're here. We're going to jump right into the Final Reckoning. We're a little pressed for time today. I know Seth has about an hour and a half, and we want him to be here for the entirety of Mission Impossible. So we are going to rearrange the order in which we typically do our podcast. So we're going to start with Mission Impossible, spoiler-free review, spoiler review. Then we'll kind of get into the how are we been doing, what have we been watching type shit. And then we have a fun action scenes draft for you. We're going to be drafting our favorite or what we consider to be the best scenes in action film. And then, the standard latest trailers, movie news. As always, shout out to our executive producers, Mr. Stefan Johnson, Mr. Cody Whitney, and Mr. Cole Beaver. We appreciate you guys and all that you do, and we appreciate all of our patrons. If you want to be a part of our fun patron community, take a look at the links in the bio below. We have weekly bonus reviews that we drop for patrons. So if you want in on those, we'll be reviewing Tony Scott's Man on Fire on this Friday for our patrons. So if you want the opportunity to hear our thoughts on that film and other bonus reviews, check out the links in our bio below. But we'll kick this episode off. Like I said, we're going to just jump right into Mission Impossible, The Final Reckoning. Bad podcasting. I did not have the synopsis up, but I feel like pretty obvious if you ask me. Hold on. This is horrifying podcasting.
I agree.
Sorry.
George. Boo, George. Everyone in the comments, boo, George.
Chill. Ethan Hunt and the IMF, the Impossible Mission Force team, continue their search for the terrifying AI known as the Entity, which has infiltrated intelligence networks all over the globe with the world's governments and mysterious ghost from Ethan's past on their trail. Joined by new allies and armed with the means to shut the Entity down for good, Ethan is in a race against time to prevent the world as we know it from changing forever. Like we said, the concluding Mission Impossible film, although we'll discuss towards the end of this review if we actually do think this is the concluding Mission Impossible film. Seth, we'll start with you.
Can I start? Can I start real quick?
Start, yeah. Cam.
Let me take this. I didn't go see Mission Impossible 8.
Fuck!
My 10 o'clock showing got pushed to 10:30, and frankly, I couldn't pull myself out of bed. I'm very sorry. I failed you, slopites, my slop disciples. I have failed you. I'm sorry.
I failed you.
And frankly, I was gonna pirate it, but that just didn't feel right. For
no, that's not a pirate movie. I'd rather you wait for.
So I'm gonna let y'all take this one. 10 out of 10. Perfect movie. Go Ethan Hunt. I trust you, Tom Cruise. I just can't stay up past 10 p.m. I'm sorry. I'm a baby.
That's okay. All right. We'll text you when we're back. Seth, we'll still start with you. Spoiler-free thoughts on The Final Reckoning.
Okie dokie. Preface this. I sound horrible. I am ill, if anyone's listening. But we will push through. I trusted Tom so much that I pushed through. So this last night, it's kind of like what I expected in some ways, but also not in others. Going in, kind of all I'd heard about it originally was that it's, very flashback heavy, self-referential, which it is, but probably not to the extent that I almost expected going in. I think you have a film that is very celebratory of its almost 30 years. It would have felt better if it was 26 for sure, because 30 years is just better than, you're not going to say 29 years, are you? That's kind of crazy. It is very celebratory of kind of its previous efforts, and Ethan Hunt as a character and kind of the team he's built around him. You know, I watched one a few weeks ago, and I said in my review that like the sequence of events in one is kind of the catalyst for what's to come. Obviously, him losing so many of his team, and that being kind of his archetype as a character is, you know, like what's the word? Protecting everyone around him, and kind of family conquers all mentality almost. And I think it kind of embodies that. The first hour and a half is very self-referential, like I said, and it's very like flashback heavy of sorts and very celebratory, that it does chuck some flashbacks that to me, some of them were kind of untrustworthy to the audience, kind of silly and kind of unneeded. But I didn't mind it in the grand scheme of things. It didn't really bother me too much. I do think it goes, it's very fast from the open. Like we're immediately in to like the first big scene, which obviously we'll go on to. And it kind of caught me off guard. There's no real build. We kind of just jumps straight there. Particularly with one scene which we'll cover as well. But like I said in my review, the fundamental ideas kind of remain the same with Ethan and his character, and it has the classic like charm of a Mission Impossible film and classic, you know, quirky traits. Like some of the set pieces in this, for example, the diving one, which obviously we saw pictures of going in, and like you know, and there was a brief thing in the trailer and stuff. It's as good as advertised. It kind of, like I said in my review, like transcended me to the gates above. It's that good. It's like 30 minutes. That sequence is long. Like it's a long sequence.
Not in
really
like not in a negative way though.
Oh yeah, no, it's like a 30 minutes, but it feels like a 5. It's amazing. It's a long sequence. And I think that's always the most impressive thing with Mission Impossible films as well. Just to echo on that. They never feel for me like as long as they are, because always something's happening and moving. Like I didn't realize this was like a 2-hour 50 film. It just didn't. It felt like about 2 hours for me. Which is always in credit to them. But I love seeing the team. It made me cry. It's earnest and it's heartwarming, like especially at the end, which we'll go on to, that final kind of like sequence. It is very celebratory, but in a way that I like. I don't think it's as strong as many of the previous efforts. I'm sure we'll give our ranking at the end of this. In that it does feel too much to a certain extent in terms of the way it goes on about the old stuff and bringing obviously the most notable character back. Is that a spoiler if I say who it was? Was that in the trailer?
No.
Like bringing him back? Was that in the trailer?
No.
Okay, well, I won't say that one.
No.
I don't think it was. But even it's a bit like, even if it is, it's not a massive thing anyway. But yeah, like kind of weird, but I also quite enjoyed it. Set pieces like the last kind of plane sequence as well, amazing. Just as good as ever. I love Tom in this. I love all of them in this. I think it works. I think it's not the strongest, but it sticks to its like grandiose aspects, its small funny moments and quirky moments with the team. It's quite fast. It's maybe too self-referential at certain points, but it's good. I like it a good bunch, and I had a good time with it overall for sure.
Hell yeah. Tyler, move over to you for our spoiler-free reviews.
Yeah, I watched it late last night, not as late as Cam, so I was able to trust Tom Cruise one last time. I was actually curious about Cam because I knew he was going late, and then like we didn't hear from him, so I was like, either he went to the theater and went right to bed, or I don't know. I was kind of curious, but obviously because it's early here for me, so like by the time he would have been back from the movie, I was already sleeping, and then I woke up for the podcast, so I was like, wonder what he's up to. But no, so I saw it very recently. Kind of, I don't know. I liked it. I gave it a 3.5 star. It's definitely a lot closer to 3-star than anything else. I think there's definitely a lot of issues with it, especially from the writing perspective. I think this movie is exactly what it probably is, in the sense that this was always meant to be Dead Reckoning Part 2 and wrap up the storyline of the entity that was, due to the commercial failures of Dead Reckoning Part 1, then forced the hand to be like, you actually have to wrap up the franchise here. We're not going to give you another $400 million. This is it. So then they were like, shoot, we have to add 45 minutes to this movie to wrap everything up, which then led to like a first hour that was a little all over the place. And then the ending is a little not super satisfying. I don't know, not in like a spoilery way. I just mean in terms of like a writing of a story of a franchise supposed to wrap up 30 years, but it is like kind of an impossible task to wrap up a franchise of 30 years. I don't know if we've really ever seen that happen before. Like we've obviously had franchise go for more than 30 years, like Star Wars, but franchises that go that long, they're like, let's just keep it rolling. Let's keep adding stuff to the universe. I think this is the only time I can ever think of that a franchise wraps up. I don't know. Dial of Destiny was such an ass movie. I don't remember. Did that try to wrap up Indiana Jones? Even if it did, that's still only like
but it's
five movies. So it's just like, and it's like, I don't know. That's like they had 3 movies, and then one way later.
Indiana Jones comes out like 5 films in what, like
it's just different. Like Mission Impossible is like consistently every couple of years there's a new one coming out for 30 years. Whereas Indiana Jones, like you had a trilogy and then like way later. Yeah. So
fucking Indiana Jones.
This it's kind of impossible to wrap up a franchise perfectly after 30 years, but I think it excels in all the ways that you want a Mission Impossible movie to excel, like the submarine scene and the plane chases were incredible set pieces. I actually think I prefer the submarine sequences, like the whole 30 minutes there. That was incredible. But yeah, I agree with Seth. It definitely doesn't trust its audience. It's definitely not a movie you need to watch any of the previous ones going into, because it's going to tell you everything you need to know before it through flashbacks and through over exposition. But Mission Impossible has always been a franchise that doesn't trust its audience, because it always is like, let's use the coolest things of our movie and use that as the trailer for 8 months going into it. Just like we were talking with Dead Reckoning Part 1, we're like, man, how cool would it have been if they didn't show us a dirt bike scene and we got to see that in theaters for the first time. And then same for this, is like the plane sequence. I was like, I feel like 90% of this we saw in trailers and set pieces. I think that's why the submarine was probably what stood out to me, even though we saw some of the set photos, but still it was just way cooler in theaters. But I don't know, at the end of the day, like I still had a fun time with it. It still was a heartwarming film. You know, like Ethan Hunt is just this guy who is always just going to be full of empathy and love and friendship and caring for the people who he holds close, and use that to drive him ultimately to make all the decisions in his life, is to protect people he loves. And that's obviously a big plot point in this movie. It's always like this kind of trolley problem of a thesis of, you know, you have a couple people that you care deeply about and you might be risking a lot just to save them. Which is also a choice this movie that people have to make, is like potentially risking a small group of people to save the whole. But again, I had a fun time with it. I don't think the first hour was like dreadful, but I do think the writing was pretty clunky. Like it was just interesting seeing Gooch's interview with Christopher McQuarrie, where Christopher McQuarrie's like, one thing, Gooch asked him like, what's one thing you kind of started leaning on as a director more now than you used to? And McQuarrie's answer was he's less reliant on dialogue now, which I agree to him in an extent, where he was mentioning how like part of this film is almost like a borderline silent film, which is like the submarine part. There's like no dialogue for a long time. But also, like, that's kind of just like a BS answer too, because the first hour of this movie, and even like there's scenes in the submarine like before he goes out there where he's like talking with other characters. I'm like, this dialogue is like really terrible and like over explaining everything. So that's the only parts I really didn't like. It's not enough. Like, again, 3.5 stars is still positive ratings. It's not enough to like take me out of the movie and feel negatively about it. It's just like I was watching it, I'm like, yeah, I don't know. It feels a little clunky, but again, once that first hour is done, you like get locked into the movie, and like it actually sets the action pieces of like, okay, Tom Cruise is Ethan Hunt going on this mission to stop the entity and do what he came here to do. It's like as good as any Mission Impossible you're going to get. I just think the hour leading up to it and then the final 20 minutes concluding it up, like the whole, everything relating to this being the last movie of the franchise supposedly of it all is awful. Everything in regards to like Mission Impossible movie, going on missions, saving the day, I think is, you know, up there with the greatest we've seen. So very mixed on the movie as a whole. But yeah, I mean, it's sad to see this franchise come to an end supposedly, but I don't see them ever giving $300 million again to Tom Cruise. So if this is really the end, I think it's, you know, a fine way to end it. It's definitely not like a Rise of Skywalker, complete crash landing, Game of Thrones final season, but it's not like, I don't know, Lord of the Rings, Return of the King by any stretch of the imagination.
Yeah, I mean, honestly, Tyler, I saw that 3.5 on Letterboxd and I was like, oh shit, okay, that's great. Like I really, as like, since you're not like the biggest action guy, I thought you would like lean like very heavily into like that first hour, and I was expecting like a 2 or a 2.5 for you. So that 3.
I mean, I like all the Mission Impossible movies.
Yeah,
like even though I don't love them, it's like I don't dislike the movie.
Yeah, that too. Yeah, but yeah, I'm happy you were at least kind of leaning positive. But
no,
I mean, I
positive,
very positive. I lean even more positive than both of you guys. I had a fucking blast with this thing. Like I had such a good time. Like such a good time. Like
your rating surprised me the most because I thought when you were saying like people's early reactions, you're like, oh, people got to be like either spoiling or lying. I was like, oh, I feel like George's gonna go into this and be like, I don't know what people are talking about. There's like a 2.5-star film or something.
What did you rate Dead Reckoning, George?
A 4.
Wow, interesting.
I promise you, I'm looking at my rating, right? It's right here on my screen, and I'm still surprised by it. Because like I fully expected to wake up the next morning. I saw this movie on Thursday night. I fully expected to wake up on Friday and be like, maybe it was like an in the moment rating. Maybe I didn't like it that much. But no, like even till right now, I'm still thinking so positively back on this movie. Which like that really did surprise me, given all of the not negative early reactions, but not all of the very positive early reactions. And I like Mission Impossible. I'll never sit here and tell you I love Mission Impossible. I love Fallout. I love Rogue Nation, and I think everything else is like good. But I've never been like so in love with this franchise. But dude, I was sitting in the theater and I was just like, man, this is cool. Like that first hour for me, it didn't feel tedious. It didn't feel annoying. It didn't feel like Christopher McQuarrie or Tom Cruise didn't really have trust in their audience. For me, it just felt like they wanted to celebrate 30 years of this franchise. And I'm sitting there watching it. And obviously I've seen all the early reviews at the time of me watching this theater. So they're all in the back of my head. And it's like really all I'm thinking about. And I'm like, man, like, I'm not getting that vibe. Like, it's really not bothering me. Like the flashbacks aren't bothering me. The references to previous films aren't bothering me because 30 years, Tom Cruise has been doing this for 30 years, and this is supposedly the last film. So I'm thinking, go for it. Celebrate 30 years of your life. Celebrate this franchise in any way you want. And it felt awesome. It felt, and maybe this is a comparison a lot of film buffs aren't going to want to hear. It felt like Avengers Endgame, where the first hour of Avengers Endgame, they are literally traveling back in the past to other movies. Whereas in Mission Impossible, The Final Reckoning, they're just flashing back to those movies. But it gave me that Avengers Endgame vibe where, you're trying to conclude the franchise, but it's also a celebration of the franchise. And I think that's what I loved the most about this movie, is that it really did feel like we are just celebrating Tom Cruise. We are just celebrating Mission Impossible. We're celebrating all of this fucking nonsense they've been doing for the last 30 years. And I loved it, man. I was sitting there with the biggest smile on my face. I like the first hour. I know that's the unpopular opinion right now. I know, like, obviously that's everyone's criticism, that the writing of the first hour is weak.
Well, I liked it generally. I just think there's some moments I hated, but I like.
I mean, listen, if this were like the third or fourth Mission Impossible movie and they spent the first hour recapping the previous 3 or 4 movies, I'd be annoyed. But I think because this is the final movie, I'm like, yeah, just give it all to me. 2 hours and 50 minutes. Give me everything. Celebrate the franchise, then go into insane stunts. Give me that emotion. Like, I don't know. I think this film just really works very well as a franchise concluding film. And again, if it concludes the franchise, I think it does, but we'll talk about the ending. But yeah, that's what it comes down to for me. I'm sitting in a theater. I'm looking up at this big IMAX screen, flashbacks, cool stunts, submarines, airplanes. We're seeing things from Mission Impossible 1 and Mission Impossible 3 play out and have purpose in The Final Reckoning. And I'm like, this is so fucking cool, man. Like, this feels like a true franchise concluding film. And I really like that. I really like the celebration of the Mission Impossible franchise. It just gave me really good vibes in the theater. It gave me really good memories the first time. Or it jogged really cool memories, really fun memories of the first time I watched Mission Impossible, which for me was only like 2-3 years ago. I was late to the Mission Impossible train. So this is actually the second Mission Impossible movie I've ever seen in theaters. Dead Reckoning was the first. Yeah, that's how late to the party I was. But yeah, I really liked it. And then once that first hour concludes, I mean, like, I'm not saying anything new in my review. Everything I'm saying, everyone else has been saying. I'm just more positive on it. But once that first hour concludes, you get a Mission Impossible movie. You get hour 40 minutes of the coolest shit in the world. There's you're your first big fight scene is this awesome scene in like a snowy cabin in the Arctic. Simultaneously, Ethan Hunt is fighting, a rogue operative in wherever he is in the submarine. And it's like this cool back and forth. And then you get to that submarine scene and it's just fucking 30 minutes of just silence and panic attacks. And then you get to the airplane scene and it's cool. I had such a good time with this movie. I'm still thinking back so fondly on it. Like I said, I expected to wake up the day after and be like, oh, maybe this isn't a 4.5-star movie, but we're 2 days out and I already have tickets to see it again on the 29th. When is that? 5, 6, 7, 8, 9 Thursday, next Thursday, in IMAX, in true IMAX at Lincoln Square. So I'm really, really excited for that. But yeah, man, I had such a blast, but it's one of those 4.5s that I've given where it's like, oh, like, if Tyler and Seth give it a 3.5, or if someone else gives it a 3 or a 4, like, I understand like your criticisms, and I understand that your criticisms are like, I'm seeing them just more positively. Like, I just, so it's not something I'm going to like sit here and defend with my life and yell at you guys for, but yeah, I had a blast this thing, man. This thing was so sick. I saw it with a bunch of friends who absolutely, I saw it with one of my best friends, and Mission Impossible is his favorite franchise, and Tom Cruise is probably his favorite actor. So
is that Rob?
That is Rob, yeah. So
it's always Rob. It's always Rob. It just feels like it's always Rob. Shout out Rob. If you listen.
Yeah, shout out Rob. Rob loves Mission Impossible. We were loving watching the Final Reckoning together, man. It was so much fun. Every time something crazy happens, we just point at the screen and we go, I got that in my bag big time. So it's fun. They're fun movies to watch with friends. I watched with a big group of friends and we all left the theater and we were like, bro, like that shit is literally impossible. So it's fun. They're fun movies. And I had a really good time with this. But we can let's jump into spoilers. Let's talk about that first hour. Because obviously that's, a major part of a lot of people's criticisms. And like genuinely, I think I'm the only person on my own letterbox that is expressing positive energy towards that first hour. Maybe like Alex. I think Alex raised his score to a 4.5 after second viewing. Yeah, he did. But Alex is Tom Cruise Mission Impossible pilled. But where is the synopsis?
Alex has the worst ranking of Mission Impossible. Just want to get that out there.
I haven't even know that. I don't want to see Alex.
You don't want to see it. You really don't.
He probably has the third one
like
in the
2
spot. Yeah, he probably has that shit.
Crazy.
But okay, so the movie opens and you got we were somewhat reintroduced to Gabriel in Dead Reckoning, played by Issa Morales. Great, one of those actors that we always talk about every so often that can like pop up and you point.
So many of these in this. Film.
Yeah, like I know that face, but I don't know if I can really.
It's the Shea Wiggum genre of actor.
Yeah.
It's the Shea Wiggum, who is also very Shea Wiggum in this as well.
Yeah, exactly. Who's literally in this, and I couldn't even name while watching the movie, and we have an effect named after him. But So Gabriel is in pursuit of Ethan and Grace, and one thing I really liked about this movie is, and I mean, you guys tell me if you disagree or not, but 2 hours and 50 minutes. You're like right back into it. Like they really don't like fluff up Dead Reckoning or anything. Like they really just throw you back into that like world and the hunt for the entity. Obviously all the flashbacks come in and it's a lot of exposition, but in terms of like getting the plot going, it's almost immediately, Gabriel catches them and basically, blackmail is the wrong word, but it basically convinces them threateningly to go and retrieve that core module from the submarine, which is revealed to be the rabbit's foot. From in Dead Reckoning, we had seen that sunken submarine. That is where the rabbit's foot is. But yeah, like you're thrown right back into it. You get immediately That awesome little fight scene, hilarious fight scene too, where like Ethan Hunt is like killing these people and Grace is sitting there like looking at him stunned, and then Ethan tries to like convince her like, oh, they would have killed you had I not done this. Like, you're welcome, don't worry. Like, that was funny. Like, that shit was funny as fuck.
It
really
does get to that bit quick though. Like it's for me, it was a little bit of a negative, just in the way that it really does like throw you in there. And again, it's how you perceive it. It's like the whole first hour. Like I generally quite like the first hour. There's obviously moments we'll speak about, but it's how you perceive it and how much you want to be thrown in. But it really does just go immediately there, which for me was a bit of a detriment. I think it could have done with a little bit more building. But that moment in particular was quite funny. I think like with Grace, Haley Atwell, by the way.
Yeah, I got you.
Yeah, thank you.
I got you for sure.
Thank you. Yeah, I like their dynamic. I really enjoyed it in Dead Reckoning as well. I think they're both really, really good in these and quirky and funny. And that moment especially, yeah, very, very good. But it did jump into it a little bit too quickly for me, I think. That was the main detriment at the start.
I don't know. Obviously, it's a 2 hour and 50-minute runtime, so it's like, all right, you have time, like, relax, slow down, breathe a little bit. But also, I'm sitting there and like watching this movie, and I'm like, oh shit, like we are starting, like second number one.
Yeah,
this movie is kicking off, and I'm like, okay, tap in, lock in. I think that's also what made the movie does not feel 2 hours. I don't know if you guys agree or not. Movie does not feel 2 hours and 50 minutes at all.
Yeah,
I think this thing flew by, even with the 30, 35, 40-minute subway sequence, like. Jesus Christ, submarine sequence.
Bro's got like, Subway always on his mind.
Yeah, I always
and damn Subway as well.
Subway holds so much real estate in my head, it's unbelievable. But yeah, even with the submarine sequence, like it really does not feel 2 hours and 50 minutes. I also just back on like that first hour. I want to reference something. I think K Meeks, our good friend Kevin, good friend of the pod, Kevin, who joined for Final Destination last week. So if you haven't seen that episode, go watch it. I think he mentioned in his review, basically saying like, if you binged all the Mission Impossible movies prior to Final Reckoning, that first hour is probably going to really like not feel great. It's probably going to feel very tedious and annoying. I did not binge any of these movies.
I didn't.
A bit before I had no time, unfortunately. I'm sure most people listening follow me on Letterboxd. I really haven't been watching a lot, and I tried to even watch Dead Reckoning prior to the Final Reckoning, and I couldn't make it work. So maybe that's also why I'm so positive on that first hour, because I didn't binge anything. So I had no Mission Impossible in my head. So a part of me was like, oh, okay, these flashbacks are kind of like sick. Like, remind me, like, give me it, like, show me what we're doing, like. Spoon feed that shit to me, Chris McQuarrie and Tom Cruise. That's what I want. So
you're also like not like you said, you're not like I think it depends on what sort of fan you are as well. You're not like a diehard fan, whereas a diehard fan might watch it and think, why do I need to know this?
Exactly.
You're not trusting your audience for this, but I think a more casual fan, it's going to be like, oh yeah, cool. Let's celebrate the films I enjoy. It like depends on the manner of fan you are, realistically.
Yeah, there were instances where like those flashbacks were useful, and I was like, oh, okay, cool. Like there were just moments where I was appreciating it. Like I was like, oh, thank you. Like I actually needed that. But again, like I said earlier, like it still felt very celebratory to me. That's the angle I'm taking when I approach that first hour. But when would you say that point ends? Do you think the submarine sequence is like the kickoff of okay, we're out of this, first hour, first half of the movie exposition filled flashback?
It's difficult. I think it does move forward. It's not all like here's the moment. Because obviously the one of the main points is when do we first see what's his fucking name? Maybe
Benji?
Name.
Luther? No, Gabriel?
No, Gabriel.
Eugene?
The guy from One. The guy who was working on the thing.
William Dunlow
William Dunlow. When do we first meet him? How far is that into it?
I don't know, maybe like an hour in, 45.
Because that's kind of one of the main callbacks, isn't it? It's bringing back like a little tidbit essentially and kind of connecting this one to the last one, because obviously we know when Ethan stole those details. And when he does that probably most famous stunt from Mission Impossible 1, he then got sent away because of that and then lost his job. But essentially, that's kind of like here's a good comparison. That's like his COVID for a lot of us. Where if COVID didn't happen, we don't do what we're doing now. Do you know what I mean? We're still stuck in the same thing. So that's kind of his catalyst, and we learn that he's actually in a positive life, living with his wife, who met. So it's kind of like a cool little tidbit, and I think it works in a way that kind of how Ethan's impacted someone's life, in a sense negatively, but also positively. Weird kind of thing to bring back, though. It's not something I necessarily expected, although I did like him in this a lot. And I think it kind of works, but it's just a weird guy to bring back, I just didn't expect it at all. But that's kind of one of the main things. And again, this is the thing, isn't it? It depends how much you like the film he's being brought back from and how much you care about that sequence. Like, I love the first one. It's like third for me. But if you're not that high on it, you just don't. I'm not sure you care. So it goes back to the kind of fan you are of these films, and whether you're a diehard or a casual fan or whatever. But when he comes in, and then when they meet like Hannah Waddingham after that sequence, I think that's kind of when we get into it, like when he goes into that submarine with Tramell Tillman, who, by the way, is great in his like short-ish runtime. Shout out, Mr. Mulchick. I think that's kind of where we almost go into the main motive of the final reckoning. I think a lot of before that is primarily a build-up. It still moves. It's not all flashback. I think it's been over a little bit.
Yeah, it's not. That's also what I think a lot of people are just like. I feel like people are leaving this movie thinking, oh, that first hour was literally just an hour of flashback. Like, really, like the plot is moving forward. You get that first interaction with Grace, Ethan, and Gabriel. He reveals the submarine. He reveals that that source code is on the submarine. You find out that Luther created this poison pill that can kill the source code.
Luther.
Yeah, Luther. We'll talk about it. We'll tell you in a sec. Actually, right now. So basically, Luther creates that poison pill, which is what they need to plug into the source code, and then the poison pill. I forget how they explain it, but the poison pill will act as a virus and destroy the entity
and destroy the entity.
They
need to plug the poison pill into the thing to destroy the entity. That's it.
Exactly. So Luther reveals that he developed this poison pill and Gabriel has stolen it. But in the process of stealing the poison pill, Gabriel locks Luther in, I guess, like is it like a
cell?
An old cell?
Luther put himself there, man.
Yeah. So and he locks him in there with a what was it? The plutonium core or not that? No, that's Back to the Future.
It's I can't remember the name of it.
What's the fucking what's it? He locks him in with the bomb. We'll just call it a bomb.
Yeah, with the bomb.
With a bomb. And the bomb, if it detonates, will destroy like miles of city blocks. But if Luther can stop it, it'll only destroy like the immediate location. So Luther sacrifices himself. There are bits of this movie that do hold my rating back from a 5-star. I will say, because I will say, I think this for me leans closer to a 5-star than a 4-star. Luther's death, not the death part. I like the sacrifice. I really like that. It's just kind of like he's going out saying like, this is what I'm meant to do. Like, this is my life. And I thought that was really emotional. I love the bit, while he's basically talking to Ethan just keeps smashing on the gate, trying to break it open. But Luther is just committed to saving millions of people. What I didn't love about the Luther death is that I feel like we didn't get a true Benji reaction to it.
It's a tough one because I think again, like it's Luther's death encompasses like him as a character, and that's that moral compass. But at the same time, if you'd have asked me 6 months ago, if you said, "Okay, Luther dies in this one, what's your reaction going to be?" I'm crying 100%. It didn't really get me, which is sad in itself, and I think it felt a little bit out of the blue, not even necessarily out of the blue, but rushed in a sense, and I didn't really feel like an overwhelmed sense of it. I didn't really not understand it, but comprehend until like Tom starts running and the bomb kind of goes off. It didn't really have that emotional stronghold over me, which I would have expected. Yeah. Even though it encompasses like Luther as a character, And I think that's what this film does well with all the characters, especially Benji and Tom. It didn't really have much of an impact on me, or as much as one as I'd have expected.
Yeah, I
he's like the guy, you know, he's been in there since he's the only one who's been there since the first film.
Yeah, it did hit me a little bit at the end when they play like the recording that he left for Ethan. That did hit me.
That was cool. Yeah.
And we're kind of jumping all around, but what did hit me is when Benji is lying in Paris's arms at the end of the movie, and like he was shot, and I thought he died. That got me. That had me like, no, not my boy Benji. And then Benji pulls up at the end, and I was like, I'm cheering. I'm like, yeah, it's my fucking guy, Benji, bro. Love him. But yeah, that is part of like the first hour of like flashbacks and like the montage and the exposition is that Luther death, and then you kind of move into Ethan surrenders himself to the president of the United States because he kind of understands, like, okay, like you need to trust me, like, which is
one last time,
which is so fucking funny, like, and I mean this like complimentary. It's just funny in like a funny way. You walk in, Ethan surrenders himself, and then he walks into this massive war room of generals and personal and big boards of maps of the world. And they're, you know, moving ships along fake maps. And we got to trust Ethan Hunt. That's our guy. That's who's going to save the world. Among all of these intelligent forces, we got to put our trust in Ethan Hunt. And that is so...
Who's had chances before as well, let's be honest. Like...
Yeah, for sure. But it's so funny. It's like the funniest thing. Like, he walks in handcuffed, and he's standing in front of the president of the United States. And he's like, dude, like, you just got to trust me. Like, I don't know what to tell you. Like, you just have to trust me. Like, this is what's happening.
Nick Offerman. I really like Nick Offerman.
Yeah,
like,
I liked everyone in that whole panel. Same. You know, I really like Angela Bassett. I really like.
She's playing Thingy in the new Harry Potter.
She's playing who?
What's her name? Not Angela Bassett. Let me find her name. Janet McTeer, who was in the war room. I can't remember what character she was. Search Janet McTeer. She was called Walters. She's like one of the main people in that war room. Apparently she's playing McGonagall, I think.
Oh yeah, the blonde woman. Okay,
the blonde woman.
I get
you. Yeah. I saw that online. I think so.
Yeah,
but everyone in that section I really liked.
Cool. Yeah, everyone there was doing great. You know, even the appearance of Hannah Waddingham, who doesn't have the biggest role. Like, I think she's an awesome presence.
Is that a good American accent? That's a good question.
I thought she was terrible in this movie. I thought every line she read, like, this is
really
bad. Yeah, I thought
she had
her
like 4 lines.
I know that it wasn't much, but like, and everyone in the submarine except Tremel Tillman, I thought was really bad. Also, I was kind of shocked at how bad it was.
It didn't
like Katie O'Brien. I was like, this is odd when she's like, "Don't ruin my suit." I was like, "Oof, this is rough."
It's tricky for me because I almost take myself out of it. And I appreciate that these are like. In Mission Impossible as a franchise, I think I'm used to like these kind of one-note actors in a way, and these one-note performances, especially from like the not necessarily villainous. Like, for example, when the guy tries to kill Tom when Ethan when he's on the treadmill, and whatever he says, it's very like one-note. But I kind of like I quite like it in a way. The performances don't bother me. I don't think they're anything great by any means, but I didn't think they were like horrible. But it is just full of like people you know or know of.
That's what I think, like, the main drawback of this film, and like the more we talk about it, like the less I like it. So I'm like been a little quiet. I'm like, damn, I don't know if I like this movie as much as I thought. Is the Mission Impossible movies are always great at bringing in these side characters and make you care for them and love them and want you to see them thrive. Every side character in this movie just felt like nothing more than like vessels to move the plot along, which is why like the Luther death didn't do anything for me, because I was like, yeah, it just happened to be like, this is a guy who's been in every movie. Let's wrap up his story, give him a little send off. But really, it's just to keep pushing this forward and get Ethan Hunt running and moving. And then like everyone in the war room, everyone on the submarine. It's like usually these Mission Impossible movies bring in these side characters that like you love and then you get an affinity for. And I think that's like I'm not as harsh as most people, but I think that's why one of the biggest criticisms like Haley Atwell is no Rebecca Ferguson, because like they just do a bad job in this movie of making you like care for these side characters, in my opinion, personally.
I miss Rebecca, which is why
like the William Donlow, everything in the cabin for me was just like, all right, let's move on here.
the cabin, obviously, we'll move on to. I know what you mean. There are a few moments in that where it's like it's so obviously like those particular villains at that point were so obviously vessels to get them moving, and it is kind of ridiculous. But I did quite like the cabin sequence, especially like the fight in it. That's where Mission Impossible thrives for me, kind of making something out of nothing almost and making these big moments. But prior to the fight, where where he's doing like when kind of sets on fire and he's doing like Morse code, that's where it thrives for me. But before that, the cabin sequence is a little bit like, we're here.
It was just like a long time at that cabin. I felt like I just
it was a while. Yeah,
it
was a while.
Again, nothing like super negative. I just didn't feel like the movie really started until we got to the submarine, because everything before then, I was like, this just feels like kind of slop to get us moving forward.
I like Mel Tillman a lot.
For sure, which was in the submarine. So I mean, like once you get to the submarine, that's when I liked it. But no, he's awesome. All his line readings were epic and incredible.
He has a really good cadence about him. I just love the way like he speaks in this, and he's always very like
he's just so calm.
Yeah, it's like in every sentence he speaks in this film, it's like everything ends with a question mark. It's amazing. But that's just how he speaks.
He literally, it is. It must be just like his like natural. I haven't seen him in anything other than Severance in this, but like he literally is like Milchick in this. Like his like talking, his cadence, and everything he says is so untrustworthy. Which like actually like brings me back to like there's nothing he does to make you not trust him in this, but it brings me back to a point that they introduced that they like just don't come back to at all, which I wish they did. Is well, they do come back. They just use it as like a device to move the plot forward. But they talk about at the beginning how the entity has like this cult of followers that will like do anything to make it thrive. And unfortunately, all that does is mean like there's going to be one or two people, one being one of the people in the submarine, that's just going to like turn their back on Ethan Hunt and just be like another fight he has to get through to move forward. Whereas I think that could have been super fascinating to have this cult of people infiltrating the government, infiltrating these things, which they do again. But it's like, I feel like all that set up with like the entity as this cult of followers that are like can do anything to preserve it really just led to like the treadmill scene in the submarine where it was mentioned, such a cool plot point.
It was like mentioned. So I thought we'd get so much more from it. It's mentioned and kind of like added a few little moments here and there, like the treadmill scene, for example, but there's nothing substantial. I think they could have done like quite a bit more than that.
Yeah, but the treadmill scene, like obviously it's just one person on a submarine and it's one like inconsequential person. Like who the fuck is this guy with a knife?
Cool scene though.
It was a cool scene because it was also cutting back and forth with the cabin. It was Ethan fighting the guy on the treadmill or off the treadmill, near the treadmill. And then it was the cabin fight scene of the people trying to take those coordinates from William Dunlow and Paris and then that group of people. And it was cutting that was actually like my first like favorite scene of the movie, is the way they were just cutting back and forth between those two fights. Like it was sick as fuck. Like watching Paris and what's his name? Paris and Theo just like kicking ass in the cabin and then cutting back and forth to Ethan trying to like obviously just stop this guy from stabbing him a couple of times.
In brief, looking like a king.
Dude, we saw so much Ethan Hunt ass in this movie. It was unbelievable.
He looks great.
He looks great. Yeah,
he looks fantastic.
He looks amazing.
For 60, is he 60 flat or a little either way?
62.
Also, you know, what's Pom? Is that Paris?
Yeah, Paris. Yeah,
I find it so funny how she always speaks French, but she can speak English in this. Very amusing. Like she understands English and she speaks to people when they speak English, but she just chooses to speak French. It's very.
I loved when they were talking about Gabriel and Ethan's like, I need him alive, and Paris is like, I will kill him. I want.
Yeah. I like. I mean, she's like the classic. Yeah, I mean, she's like the classic again. Like it's kind of that one note. Well, at the start, but I really enjoy her presence a lot of the time and kind of her relentless aspect to it, and the way she just like shoots nonsensically. I do actually really like her in this, and I think like in these sort of films you need like characters like that.
Yeah, they really cool. She is like just the perfect textbook definition of just a cool ass character. You know, I don't
think we mentioned the. Sorry, carry on. I'll say that.
No, go.
I was gonna say I don't think we mentioned the sequence with her when she's like being taken by the guards and then they're in the masks and they.
That was like damn. That was like scene number 2. Yeah. Pumped off that. But yeah, Ethan. It was in the beginning. When
this is why, guys. People who commented, why do you need to run through the synopsis? Because we fucking forget things.
Because we forget shit. It's 2 hours and 50 minutes of content.
It's hard.
But yeah, this is after Gabriel or after Ethan and Grace escape Gabriel. They kind of go on like a little Avengers recruiting montage. You know, they go get Benji, and then they go with Benji to get Paris, and Paris is being taken really funny scene where, you know, Ethan rips the mask off and he's like literally like stopping two people from holding a gun in their face. You're like, stop. Like, the entity is against all of us. Like, we are a team now. That was very funny with Theo and Paris just eyeing each other down with a gun in their hands. And Paris just looked like she wanted to pop him so bad. Paris wants to kill everyone. It's awesome.
Yeah, she does.
But yeah, that for me is the end of the cabin fight. That for me is when like the first like clunk of the movie ends, because that's when it kicks off. They have the coordinates. They're all kind of approaching the coordinates. You know, the next big scene you have is the I was about to say subway again. Is the submarine scene. That was some of the sickest shit I've ever seen in my entire life.
Quite scary, I will say. You know, when he finds those bodies and one of them goes like that,
dude. Even before he finds the bodies, when he gets out of one subway. Fuck me. He gets out of one.
What's wrong with you?
Stop. He gets out of one submarine. The camera turns around, and there's another submarine just sitting there. And my theater literally goes, "Holy shit!" Like, I heard the collective gasps. Like, this was like, dude, I felt like I was underwater. Like, I felt like I was drowning for a hot second. Like, and then another really fucking crazy shot, and this might just be me, but I thought this was such a cool shot when like Ethan gets out of the submarine and both of the submarines pass by. The camera's like on Ethan, and then it turns around, and you see the submarines, both of them leaving, and it's so calm. Even though when Ethan and the camera were pressed up against the subway, it was like one wrong move and Ethan's dead.
George, stop calling it a subway.
Did I say subway again?
You said subway again.
I'm sorry. I'm gonna bug out. I'm
Someone
gonna
count how many times.
I'm gonna stop saying submarine. I'm gonna just call it the underwater car.
I know which bit you mean, though. I actually like distinctly remember that. It feels like Tyler said earlier, very silent at times, and kind of you don't almost realize until you.
There's like 20 minutes with no dialogue, and there's not even super score heavy either.
And that was like the best scene in the film for me. That for me is like discounting my faults of this film. That's like one of the best Mission Impossible ones. Singular set piece.
I think that was the best scene. The whole submarine sequence. I think that for me that was the best in the dude.
In the franchise?
No, in the movie.
Oh, in the film.
Yeah.
In this film for sure. I mean, it's close to the top of the franchise. I don't know.
It's really good one.
Like Halo jump, but dude, every single wide shot of the submarine like turning over, and then you're inside the submarine, and like Ethan's trying to like dodge.
And then it goes in his face, and he's like trying to keep exhaling because, like,
oh my god,
if you inhale water, your lungs will just explode. That's kind of what it says, and you kind of get that point of that desperation because he keeps like panning and zooming in on his face and then showing how big his surroundings are and how tight. And like, there's one where he tries to like go through that. He looks through that like really tight like tube like tunnel area, and it just made me feel so claustrophobic because like you realize kind of what he's going through and kind of what he's trying to get. And like I said earlier, when he sees those Russian what would you call them?
I don't know. Submarine people.
Marines,
sailors, I don't know,
sailors,
Navy, I don't know, whatever.
Probably Navy. Yeah.
When they see them, and it shows the like flashbacks of those and how they kind of died. Really like stressful and sad and kind of devastating sequence. And then it feels, the best thing about this is it feels as it is. It feels so isolated because it is, but it really makes you feel like he's the only one and he's in charge of everything right now. And it's all down to him. Which essentially it is, and that's kind of the way the film wants to make you feel, but it really does feel like that.
Yeah, it's so claustrophobic in like this is where I think this movie succeeds maybe more than any other Mission Impossible movie. Is just, dude, I was having a panic. I was panicking in this theater, like genuinely. Like Ethan was in the submarine. I'm shaking. I'm like, yo, get out right now, please, before I have an anxiety attack. Like the submarine was tumbling over. It was getting really close to the edge. and then the camera shows the edge and like looks down, and you see how fucking deep it is. I'm like,
It's
oh my
deep.
God.
Yeah,
I'm like,
crazy.
dude, get the fuck out of there.
I'm scared of deep water as well, and that, like, I just imagine myself, and that would be fucking terrifying.
Yeah, dude, nightmare fuel. I was even like, you move on to like, well, I'm jumping ahead a little bit, but like the airplane scene, man. I'm like, bro, hold on, please hold on to that airplane. Do not let go.
That made me anxious, very.
Yeah,
when he joked, like he's holding with like one arm at one point. I'm like, bro.
Yeah,
bro,
like in Dead Reckoning, the dirt bike scene. Like, I never had like an overwhelming sense of like anxiety or panic with that scene, because one, I think we saw it so many times before the movie even released, but two, like,
it's faster. I think
it's faster, it's quicker. It's also like he's just parachuting, you know, like that's really what it comes down to. Still a sick scene, obviously. I'm not trying to downplay that scene, but like Final Destination, Final Reckoning, just
it could have been Final Destination. Could have been over for him.
Could have been very quickly been over. But no, Final Reckoning, like they turn it up with these set pieces, man, and they got emotions out of me that, you know, Mission Impossible really just hasn't gotten out of me, with like feeling stressed, feeling claustrophobic, you know, feeling very anxious. Like, I was leaning forward, man. I was like wiping sweat off my hands.
I was really anxious, the plane scene, which you'll probably agree with this, George, but because we haven't seen them in on the big screen, I wish I could have seen like the Burj Khalifa stuff on the big screen, for example.
Yeah,
like those sort of moments, or Halo, like the Halo sequence, like anything like that, you know.
I'm still like, I'm really, and obviously, like, I don't work for IMAX or movie theaters. I don't know what they do, but I'm really stunned that we didn't get the Mission Impossible movies re-released before Final Reckoning. Yeah. Like, I don't. It stuns me, because it feels like something like, one, Tom Cruise would push for, two,
and it's
IMAX,
Final Reckoning,
and it's Final Reckoning. Like, it's the last one. Like, I can't even imagine, had they released one Mission Impossible movie a week for the 7 weeks or 6 weeks prior to Final Reckoning, how much money they would have made.
I'm surprised they didn't even do Dead Reckoning. I would have thought they would have done, because it's essentially a part one, isn't it, really? I would have thought they would have done Dead Reckoning, especially.
They were worried it'd be like a Morbius situation where it made $0 when it first came out. And like, well, if we re-release it, it'll make more money. And then no one sees it again. They're like, well, fuck.
Wow, it's memories of when they re-released Morbius. Crazy. So I am surprised they didn't at least do that one, because I thought, because the final one, isn't it? You know, it's like, this is a 29-year-old franchise.
Yeah, almost 30. But yeah, the submarine scene also just culminates in like one of my favorite shots of the entire franchise, which we saw in the trailers, but it looked sick in the IMAX screen when Ethan is like floating to the top.
There's no way you don't die.
There's no way you don't die. 100% is dying. He is imploding the moment he took his suit off. Like,
dude, how
this shit is literally impossible.
His lungs are collapsing immediately. Like,
they spent so much dialogue and so much time explicitly explaining the decompression and like how that will kill you if you don't have this like suit. And then he's like, "Well, I'm not going to fit in this tube without it, so gotta take it off."
Oh, that's a good point as well. You know, when he first goes into like the pod and then it starts filling up with water. That's when I started to feel really anxious. I was like, "There's no way out now."
It's like I was putting myself in that position. It felt like when you're on a roller coaster and they close the fucking seats. It's like, oh, you're here. Like, you can't back out. I was like, dude, if I were Ethan Hunt, I'd start crying. I'd be like, I'd be begging.
It's like when you're on a flight and it says off. You're like, well, there's no going back now. It's that initial moment. Like, there's nothing changing.
I would literally be begging them to turn or like. Dude,
I kept thinking
make me do this.
I kept thinking, like, if I was in that situation, I'm banging on the window like, shit, fuck the world, I'm out. Like, when it starts filling with water and shit, that'd be the most anxious thing ever. I'd hate that. But I love that moment. I really liked it.
If the world's security were in George Carmi's hands, we'd be fucked. Unbelievably fucked.
Probably because they'd say go to the submarine and you'd go to a subway. You'd probably be chilling in New York.
Okay, so the subway scene, Jesus, fuck me, man. I hate this.
God,
the submarine scene ends. They go.
Well, Haley and Louis' wife. Well, they do it to send the coordinates. Then he like floats to the top, and then obviously Haley kind of starts performing like CPR and trying to make him wake up. There, he's in this little pod.
Saved his life.
Yeah, it saved his life. What happens straight away after that? I'm trying to think.
They go. I believe this is when they go to South Africa.
South Africa.
Yeah, because they think Gabriel is going to be there with the poison pill, trying to gain control of the entity.
Good move with the coordinates, by the way, putting them somewhere. So if the Russians were
backwards, dude.
Backwards. Cool move.
I looked at Rob while we were watching this movie. I was like, yeah, I would have thought of that too. Like, that's genius. Like, that's so fucking smart. I would have never thought of that. Are you kidding me?
I really like that,
Someone randomly says, wow, that's literally on the opposite side of the globe. And then someone else is like, oh, wait a second. It's literally exactly on the opposite. Like, fuck, man.
That's a good move.
Shit's genius. I would have never thought of that. But yeah, that was a good move. But yeah, so they go to South Africa. This is where what's his name? Shea Wiggum. Yeah, because he's like on his own little mission within this movie.
Remember who his dad is?
Yes, right.
John Voight from One, who essentially was rats. Actually, was with Ethan, and then kind of he turns out he was the villain the whole time. We get that sequence at the end where he dies in the plane,
which is so silly.
So silly, so silly.
They abandoned the rule of Shea Wiggum. The rule of Shea Wiggum is Shea Wiggum is a character who just shows up.
Shea Wiggum is a good shit though. That's what Shea Wiggum
more.
is.
Exactly. They abandoned that. They gave him a backstory. They gave him purpose. You abandoned rule number one of Shea Wiggum's, and that was one of the biggest eye roll moments of the movie. It was like
I know what you
giving
mean.
him a backstory of like tying him into the, and that's like where like the big Rise of Skywalker comparisons really start coming from.
Because he hates like because when Tom like speaks to him when they're on the plane after he's given himself in, Tom saying like about how his dad's kind of betrayed him or whatever, and he's like no, he wouldn't shake his hand, and then that culminates in that sequence with them where he has a gun in his hand. He's like, shit, let me put this down. And then he shakes his hand. It's like,
the funniest handshake to dap up I've ever seen in my entire life.
Yeah,
that shit was so clean. They hit the handshake and then they move straight to the smooth move, bro. I'm gonna start doing that with all my homies.
And then Ethan leans on him and walks away, and he just stands there for a second looking away. I was like,
it was so awkward. But the thing is,
I love this movie, bro.
They had so much back and forth this whole franchise. There was no need to give him like this extra motivation of backstory. Like they already had
Was he just in the which one's he?
No, this movie is so fucking funny in the best way possible. But since we're on Shea Wiggum, he interrupts like it's not a deal. It's more of like a Gabriel is like, give me that fucking thing from Ethan. But Shea Wiggum interrupts and comes in, guns blazing.
Oh, this is in like the mine, isn't it?
Yeah, because he basically wants the United States to control the entity. And someone previously in the film, I forgot who, basically I think Haley Atwell said, like, who in the world would you trust with that power? And the answer is no one, but she says you. I would trust you, Ethan. But Kit Ridge, whatever his name is basically like, yeah, I trust the United States.
Bad move.
Yeah, terrible move. Horrible move. Shout out. This is this is also a little this was kind of stupid for me, but it was funny. It was funny where they were basically like, you're gonna plug this in. Ethan is gonna plug the poison pill into the controller.
So confusing.
And then you're gonna have a blink of an eye to pull that shit out.
To pull that out, yeah.
100
so satisfying when it happened.
100 milliseconds.
Take a shot every time they say blink of an eye, too.
Yeah, they said blink of an eye a lot, but I mean, we're getting into like the final sequence, so we could kind of just like open the floor and stop going like beat by beat. But plane chase sequence was sick. It goes same thing with the submarine sequence. It goes on a lot longer than I had expected. Like he's overtaking two planes.
You know what's so funny about it? Do you know in the first plane when he punches that guy and he's instantly out? There's no way you go out when you've got a fucking thing on like
Nah.
that, and he just goes.
Ethan's got a heavy
Bro,
fist,
it was
dude.
so funny, man.
Ethan's got
He's
a heavy
like a quick
fist.
punch when he's got a fucking like whatever hat on, he's out. Like
That's a fist fueled with love and friendship, man. You don't know how bad that thing will hurt. But no, the thing is, the whole plane sequence is so silly, like in a cool way, where it's like, so the whole point of it obviously is they're analog biplanes, you know, classic, not digital, because then the entity can't get any like the Internet of Things like to take it over and contact us. They need something completely analog. And the idea is that Gabriel's just gonna like fly this thing really high in the sky while like bombs go off, and he's like, up here I'm gonna be safe. When you just like logically think about that for like a minute, like those planes, like looking at that plane, how much gas you think, how long you think that plane's gonna be able to just chilling up there?
He's not
Like,
just
making
it sound like
a nuclear holocaust is going to go on. He's just going to be going in circles for like until it like calms down. Then he's like, all right, let's go back down.
Let's go back down.
This is such a ridiculous, silly thing. And that was like so much of this movie, but like
it's also like
negative, but it's like
when Tom gets onto Gabriel's plane and the guy just keets doing like loops over and over. How the fuck is he hanging on at that stage?
Gabriel is such an all-time knife villain too, like in Dead Reckoning as well, but he's such a like always just pulling out knives in such a menacing way.
And then he laughs in like a menacing way as well when like he's trying to fuck you up.
He's like stabbing Tom Cruise through the plane with a knife. And then he snaps his arm. That was pretty sick. The way that Gabriel actually dies was sick. I was not expecting it to be that fast.
Yeah, that was fucked. Another moment where my theater like audibly was like, "Whoa, what the like?" You expect him to fall?
He was like, "Oh, I've got a parachute. You haven't."
This was literally a Final Destination kill where he falls off the plane and then last minute splits his head open on the wing. Like that shit.
He goes straight into that fucker.
Straight into it.
I think this whole sequence is like it's quintessential Mission Impossible, isn't it? Like
it is.
It's so silly, but it's so audacious and grandiose. Like they're over this kind of massive, vast landscape with the hills, doing these kind of tiny planes. Ethan's hanging off, doing all these like tricks on him, like trying to get into one seat. Then he realizes he can't fly from that seat, and he has to flip off the plane and go back onto the other seat. Like it's so quintessential Mission Impossible. This moment I love for the entirety. It went on for a while, but it felt like 5 minutes. I really, really love the sequence, especially with Gabriel. And I think it's such a funny way to kill him off because you just don't expect someone like that in a film like this. Like it's instant. He's like, I've got a parachute, good luck getting down. He just jumps immediately death.
It kept reminding me of, which this is a deep cut that I hope someone in the comments knows what this is, what I'm talking about. The Wii video game for the movie Up has like a dog fighting sequence from like, they obviously have that. And like, that just reminded me of that video game as a kid. The Up Wii video game where you're in two biplanes just trying to take each other down.
What a reference. What a pull that is.
Didn't think you'd hear an Up Wii video game reference on a Mission Impossible Final Reckoning, but that's what the ReelTok Podcast brings you. But yeah, that scene was super fun. But again, it's not submarine level for me just because like 10% of this we didn't see. Like the death was awesome. And like when he's actually on the plane, like the stabbing through was sick. But like the entire chase again was like another Dirt Bike 2.0 where it's like, man, this would have been really sweet to see. Like the colors, the yellows and the reds pop really well. Beautiful landscapes are going through as well. Very cool chase sequence. But yeah,
the submarine you're with him the entire time and it's silent and you're essentially tracking him, following him. So it really feels like you're either a spectator or him himself. And it feels different from like the plane sequence is amazing because it's so Mission Impossible. The submarine sequence obviously is Mission Impossible, but it feels like its own entity. And it feels so separate.
The submarine sequence is the Abyss. That's. I mean, I'm not the first one to say that. Everyone's been saying it.
I haven't seen it. I should watch the Abyss.
Oh, you should.
The Abyss isn't allowed here. We can't stream it here. Did I tell you that?
Really?
Yeah, because they killed like a mouse or something. I think there's a scene where
there is that scene where they drown a rat.
Yeah, they're not allowed to use that here. I think that's still the case. So I've actually never seen it. I need to watch that though. It looks really, really good.
Interesting.
But so like while this whole plane thing is going on is when they're like in that bunker with like Benji, and
Paris is operating on
Benji got shot. He's like
Benji got shot.
Benji moment, like, do you know what makes me laugh? And it's such a fucking typical thing when he's reading out the instructions and he's like,
and he like dies.
And then she's like, Benji, and he's like, red. I love that shit, man. It's such a fucking Simon Pegg thing to do.
Yeah, that was
because he's like making Paris like operating the entire time. If anyone trusted me with that, because she is doing some like
if you ask me to operate on you, you're gonna die. Just so if
For
we're
sure.
ever in that situation where I need to operate on one of you guys,
Because he's like, do you have any medical experience? And she's like, I kill people.
I kill people, and he's
Oh,
like,
right.
I
Yeah,
could
that was
work with
But
that.
it's reverse that, yeah.
Yeah.
Just yeah,
I bring people back to life, actually. But yeah, that was a really funny sequence. But that's all happening. So when the plane sequence ends, Ethan is falling, deploys his parachute lights up on fire, and we just see Ethan falling. And I really, for a hot second, I thought this was going to be like a No Time to Die type exit where he like
He
plugs
sends the
in-
code and then splat.
Yeah, that's literally what I thought. I thought he was going to send the code, and then we were just going to watch Ethan Hunt fall to his death. I was like,
I
oh,
thought he was
shit.
going to die.
I was
Yeah,
like, no fucking way. I really thought he was
I
going to
did.
die. Like I even texted you guys like before I saw the movie. I was like, I think everyone telling me that they're crying at the end of this movie is a really big spoiler, because I was implying that I thought it meant Ethan Hunt died. Obviously, I was very wrong.
Yeah.
But yeah, that was cool.
He's
'cause
falling
like,
for a while as he's doing
He's
it.
falling for a long time.
So I was like, okay, this is his martyr moment. He's doing
Yeah.
this. And he's out. Like
Exactly what I thought. I thought he was going to
Yeah.
plug in the poison pill, and we were just going to watch him descend into the clouds, and which we did. But then eventually you
Right,
see
yeah,
him
parachute.
standing on the ground with a backup parachute. And then you get like the blink of an eye scene. Haley Atwell fucking pops that shit out.
Satisfying.
Super satisfying. My theater clapped. I clapped. I don't typically clap in movies. I said this in my TikTok review. I'm not a big clapper in film, but this shit made me clap. I clapped at the end when Benji pulled up, because like I said earlier, I thought he died. So when Benji pulled up, I was like, that's my guy right there. And then
we could start Top Gun Maverick theories of when everyone's like, oh, like Tom Cruise dies in the first 30 seconds of Top Gun Maverick when he goes like Mach 5 or whatever, and the rest of the movie's like him in the afterlife, submarine sequence. We could say, he dies in that because there's no way you're surviving that decompression, that cold water, and the rest of the movie is his subconscious saving the world and saving his friends, but actually
it would make sense. The
all
transition to when like Haley Atwell is essentially like it's almost heavenly. It
Yeah.
would kind of make sense. Maybe that is just his subconscious.
Which is weird because like he has such different love interests throughout the whole franchise. So like because obviously this whole movie has so many flashbacks and callbacks to other movies and other characters that we've seen and his friends and love interests throughout. So it's like kind of like it was almost like weird for me when I was like, oh, it's like making it be like Haley Atwell's like love is reviving him, and I was like, it's just weird. Like it's like I don't know, wouldn't it be like for Mission Impossible 3, like his like wife or fiance or whatever, like I don't know, Rebecca Fur, like it's like so weird because he has so many different love interests that like having like the love of, but I guess it's just a collective love.
They hadn't known each other that long.
Dude, Ethan Hunt just a little lover boy, bro. Like he just be loving people.
Yeah,
loving.
Should have been
boys,
Benji reviving him.
Yeah,
that'd have been cool. Benji and Luther.
Dude,
Yeah.
Benji's the fucking goat, bro.
Luther, it kind of annoyed me as well, like how Luther died, because Luther is like probably my favorite.
But that's the thing. It didn't annoy me how he died. Like
how he died.
I like that he sacrificed himself. I like that while he's sacrificing himself, he's doing like that very cliche, like this is what I was meant for. Like this is my life. This is the perfect way for me to go out. He's basically saying like I've lived a great life. Every time he talks about Ethan, it's like he's fucking tearing up. Like he's a really wholesome guy. So I didn't dislike the way he went out. I think I disliked the way they handled the aftermath. It's very similar to when Natasha Romanoff dies in Endgame. Like we move past that really fast. And that's one of my gripes with Endgame. Like we don't really have time to mourn Natasha. And I felt the same way about Luther. So that again, I like the way he died. I did. It's just the aftermath. Like I feel like we didn't get like I feel like we should have gotten some sort of scene where Ethan tells Benji about it and the two of them embrace and cry, but we just kind of move past it really quick.
Like, when they mention him as well, it almost they say something and Sam's like, it was about the potion. It's like Luther created it. It almost felt at the time like Luther was like an afterthought, almost like his death didn't have the impact I was expected it to. Like Luther was, he's been in the franchise since the first film, so I expected that to be a bigger moment than it was, and it would impact the team, I guess, more than I.
So
literally, go Tyler.
I was gonna say, well, while this is all going down at the end here with the biplane sequence at the same time as Benji and them in the cave, we have the president who's like has to decide bombing her own country or disarming like the basically it's like you either disarm all nukes, which like protects people, but then like leaves you defenseless, or you have to like pick your. She has to like sign a city. So it's like what city do you think in America that the president would have chosen?
Detroit.
George would have chosen New York.
Detroit.
George would have chosen the.
It was either Detroit or Pittsburgh. No question in my mind.
Can I pick somewhere?
Yeah, sure.
Wait, is it a state? Was it a state or a city?
City, but it has to be like a large one. I think it can't just be like a middle nowhere. Like it had to like kill a certain amount of people or something. I don't know.
Give me.
There's just no way she wasn't looking at the map going Detroit. Fuck that city up.
Give me Albuquerque.
Albuquerque. I don't know that. I guess it's pretty populated. So Breaking Bad.
I'm not sure why. Just the name of it.
Rip Walter White.
Yeah. There's a lot of shit going on in Albuquerque, man. We gotta get that.
My theater exploded in laughter when they were like going back and forth deciding whether or not they want to bomb all of these major cities around the world. And that one guy in the war room was like, obviously nuking 9 of the most heavily populated cities in the world would cause political distress.
Oh yeah.
And everyone in my theater was like, yeah, dude, no fucking shit. like that. Like what kind of line is that? Like, obviously, man.
And then the guy tries to fucking shoot her as well. And Nick Offerman.
That was that man.
Did anyone else think Nick Offerman would do it? You know, when he gets the gun? Like
they definitely set it up to make you think.
Yeah,
they kind of bluffed me, to be honest.
So I thought when he asked that guy for the gun, I thought he was going to kill himself because he didn't want to be a part of the death of 100 million people. That's what I thought.
Would make sense.
Yeah, but they don't really explain why he asked for the gun. Obviously,
was that not her son as well? Or was that a completely different person?
At the end, yeah.
No, the guy asked for the gun. Was that not her son as well?
No.
Okay, maybe that's
no. But all right. Anything else you want to say about Mission Impossible, or do we want to bring Cam back and do a fun little draft? It was a 4.5 from myself.
Can we say our rankings before I go as well?
Oh yeah. Do your rankings. You go, Seth. I'm gonna tell. I'm not ranking because I haven't seen a couple of the movies in a while.
Well, you have to.
Fine. George removed the ratings. Carmi is abstaining from ranking the list.
Right, Tyler, you go first.
All right. 8th place, Mission Impossible 2. The only one I don't really love. John Woo has undeniable visual flair, but still, like the story, the romance, nothing. I mean, his hair is great, but
his hair is number 1.
Mission Impossible 3 in 7th place. Philip Seymour Hoffman carries the movie. 6th place is where I have The Final Reckoning, which is where I had it before. I started liking it a little less talking about it, but I still think it is definitely the weakest of the other 5 that I really like. But again, an impossible task to wrap up a franchise of 30 years. I think they did okay at it. 5, Ghost Protocol, Kremlin scene, awesome. You also got Leah Seydoux, shout out. 4, Dead Reckoning. Really wish there could be an alternate reality where we see a Dead Reckoning Part 2 where it focuses on the entity a little more and doesn't have to focus so much on wrapping up the franchise. But, alas, is the world we live in. 3, the original Mission Impossible. Respect De Palma. Loved all the Dutch angles in this one. That was clearly just giving some love to De Palma from Christopher McQuarrie. 2, Rogue Nation. Should be called Mission Impossible. Rebecca Ferguson. And number 1, Fallout. Again, it's like tough because like so many other ones I love so much, and like Fallout at 1 is just such a basic choice. But like when I think about like the Halo jumping, when I think about the holding breath sequence, when I think about the helicopter chase, and all the side characters, Fallout just really is just the greatest for me. But top 3 could be really any order, and then there's a small tiny gap to Dead Reckoning, Ghost Protocol, and then a big gap between all of them and 3 and 2.
Let me see. Do you know who I miss in these films as well? Lane, Sean Harris's character in Fallout and Rogue Nation.
Yeah.
What a voice, man. I love him. He's so good in these films. Last, I've got Mission Impossible 3. I'm similar to Tyler, where it's like I prefer 2, but there's not much in it. I have them both rated at 3. There's none of these films I don't like. 2 and 3 are just a bit less interesting to me. I think they have like 2 has some really good set pieces. 3 has Philip Seymour Hoffman, but I'm not like that interested in them. 6, I also have Final Reckoning. Bit of a jump to a 3.5. I think it wraps it up nicely. Some qualms as a poke about, but a good film overall. 5 is Dead Reckoning, also a 3.5. Now, I will say I need to rewatch that. I haven't watched it since it first released, and I think I'll probably like it a little bit more. 4 is Ghost Protocol. Some of the best set pieces by far. Leah Seydoux, as Tyler already said as well. That's at 4.5, and then my top 3 are all that's at 4. Sorry, my top 3 are all 4.5. So I love all these. Mission Impossible 1, number 3, love De Palma. I just love how this is like the archetype, and this is the catalyst for what's to come in terms of his team being obliterated at straight and kind of the semblance of that and meeting Luther. Amazing film. 2, I have Fallout. This switched this week. I rewatched Rogue Nation, and Rogue Nation is now my number 1. I love Rogue Nation. I love all 3 of these, but I think Rogue Nation especially is, like close to a 5 for me, and that's the only one I'd say that with. So, Mission Impossible, Fallout, and Rogue Nation are like the top 3 for me, but like a good way. Ghost Protocol at 4, a little bit of a drop to 5, a little bit of a drop to 6, and then 7 and 8 are like the severe drop.
All right, my ranking as of
you are ranking him now.
I mean, it's the last ranking I had, and I'm just kind of fitting Final Reckoning in there. Although I don't know, maybe I rewatch these movies and the ranking looks a little different. How many of these are there? 8. God, it's a lot of movies. At 8, I had Mission Impossible 2. At 7, I had Mission Impossible 3. At 6, I had Mission Impossible.
How dare you.
At 5, I had Ghost Protocol. At 4, I had Dead Reckoning. I'm going to slide Rogue Nation to 3. I'm going to put Final Reckoning in at number 2, and then Fallout. Fallout is still and always will be now the best Mission Impossible movie I've seen. But all right, that's going to wrap.
Bottom 2, just in different orders, anyway.
Yeah. Seth, do you have 15 minutes to do a draft of the best action scenes in film?
I have 8 minutes.
Real quick, Seth, do you fuck with Yorkshire puddings?
What the fuck?
I do actually.
What?
Yeah,
We just saw a bunch of TikToks on last night. Ryan,
we have them like Christmas and stuff, and they're really fucking good.
All right, well, get Cam back, and we can. If Seth only has 8 minutes, we can probably just.
Oh, do you want me to bring some to America?
Riley has some in the oven right now, so I'm excited.
Oh shit! Is it your first go?
Yeah, we just saw TikToks from last.
Are they actually like, good ones, or are they shit?
I don't know.
Can you send me a
podcasting?
Can you send me
How they smelling?
Good.
I don't smell.
If they're not smelling good, you got fucking fake ones, motherfucker.
Mm-hmm.
Dude, I'm smelling some lilies. It's lily season. You guys fuck with lilies?
I can't say I have too much of an opinion on lilies.
I'll text Cam. So Seth, you got to jump. Well, I appreciate you powering through your sickness.
Yeah.
Hope you get better.
Seth.
Oh, am I off now? Whatever goes.
I thought you said you had to jump.
You can't. We're not doing.
I just had 8 minutes. I'm just chilling for.
Well, we'll see. Okay, Cam's back.
Hola.
Or just let me pick.
I didn't realize we were like. That's a nice hour 15 on Dead Reckoning. That's impressive.
Why I said do it first, because I knew we'd be yapping.
Yeah, we talked for a mad long time.
Imagine if you watched it as well, Cam.
All right, that's fair. I'm glad I didn't now. Well, I'm not glad I didn't.
I'm not.
Cam's back. Seth's got, I'm going to call it 10 minutes. Let's do a draft. You got 10 minutes. Let's do a draft of the greatest scenes in action films.
Does it have to be an action film?
I was going to say, it doesn't have to be an action
greatest
film.
action scenes. I think.
Yeah.
That's what I was thinking.
Action scenes. Yeah, I titled that incorrectly. It doesn't, there are action scenes in non-action movies, but we'll just go action scenes. Tyler, you got the first pick. Then we'll go Cam, George, and Seth at the turn. This was I put a list together. This shit was impossible.
Can we do one per franchise?
I like that.
Okay.
I love that, actually.
Let's do it. Wait, one per person per franchise?
No, per franchise.
Everyone.
Per franchise.
Everyone.
Everyone. You can get one from Mission Impossible.
Yeah,
I think, though, if say, here, tell me I'm wrong. Do we count, if I say, and I'm not going to, but I might, pick an MCU, does that count as MCU or does it count as Spider-Man?
It's not
MCU.
Marvel, it's MCU.
Okay, that's fine.
MCU.
Go.
All right. First pick, I will go with the hallway fight scene in Old Boy.
Yeah.
Young man.
In Spike Lee's Old Boy, to clarify.
True. What a scene. Josh Brolin. Ciao.
I don't know if this has
Big jewel of the face.
Has a fight scene name. What is the
It doesn't have to be a fight. It's just action,
No, at best action scene, but no offense. I mean, or no, it's not. I guess not all are fighting, but I want this franchise off the board just to piss George off. Take John Wick 3. What's the dragon breath gun scene?
That's from 4.
The overhead.
Isn't that 4?
Is that 4? My bad.
That's 4.
No, honestly, Hundo P. I forgot which John Wick we were on at this point. I knew it was the most recent. Yeah, with the tracking shot over the top and the dragon breath, shotgun shootout.
I was actually going to pick the nightclub scene in that with the big guy.
Oh yeah, nice. I mean, there's a ton of John Wick scenes. I had to look up to see if there was a name for this scene.
Tracking shotgun shot.
That's probably not like the most popular. Let's see what this list has as number
Yeah,
one.
that was fucked. That was.
I'm
really
just going
fucked.
off the dome. It's easy.
The Ahsoka Continental fight scene is the number one on this list.
All right, there's there's a lot of ways I can go. Cam fucked me, so I'm gonna fuck Seth. I'm gonna take the Battle of Helm's Deep.
Bro, that is so fucking horrible. That
Nice.
is such a horrible thing to do. Why the
Nice.
fuck did you do that? That is so fucking horrible.
I wrote a list together. It's actually, and this isn't ranked, but it's number 2 on my list. So
Battle Helm's
hopefully
Deep
you
was
don't-
actually my number one as well.
hopefully you don't take one of my number one, and then I'll be happy.
No,
with
because the Dark Knight's fucking shit, mate.
it's not Dark Knight's actually not number 1.
What
The
is
Dark
it?
Knight. What
Do I like your number one though?
Yeah,
So it's Star Wars. man.
it's not Star Wars, but you definitely like these movies for sure.
Ah, shit.
luck.
I'll go.
Yeah,
Okay, I'll
good
go.
luck.
Wow, that's really fucked me a little bit. What a horrible
Really.
thing to do. I'm gonna go with the War Rig sequence in Furiosa.
No,
Is that it?
Wow.
Is that
Wow.
you were taking Mad Max
Furiosa
Furiosa?
is
weren't you?
crazy.
You were taking Mad Max Furiosa sequence, weren't you?
That
nice.
was the first one on my list.
Mhm.
That's crazy. I didn't expect anyone to go the Mad Max franchise. I'll admit.
My
I
number-
don't
the
know
number-
why.
the-
I don't know
that's
why.
crazy.
Yeah,
just-
dude, I have
think
like
that.
I have 4 Mad Max seeds on this
Bro,
list.
Furiosa's got like Mad Max
Damn.
Furiosa all
The
time.
freaking parachuting,
I
paragliding.
guess, that's fair. I didn't think of it myself. That's
Yeah.
what. That's
I
what.
didn't.
Uh,
so I
there are 3 other scenes from Fury Road that I would have picked as well if we
Okay.
didn't enact that 1 per franchise rule.
I'm gonna go something from Spider-Man, but which one do I want to take? I'm actually
You're taking slop. Ha! How could you?
yeah, this is Slopfest season.
Technically, I'm the only one who hasn't drafted Slop already. Well, I actually got a legacy.
Well, no, you
series.
have the Old Boy. Technically, would it be
remake.
an adaptation? Does
True
it count
comic
as
remake.
book, yeah. And it's got a
Legacy
remake.
slop.
Which one do I
Legacy
take?
Slop
Which
is
which
so
Spider-Man
funny.
one do I take? I'm gonna take versus Doc Ock. I think.
Good.
Yeah,
good
I was gonna take
Or-
that one. I'm gonna take that one.
So does that
Really?
take
Hold on,
every
really?
Spider-Man movie out of the?
Why?
out
What
of
would you have taken?
No. That just takes Raimi's Spider-Man out.
Just Raimi's Spider-Man.
Yeah.
I think my favorite is the end of
Green-
Spider-Man 1. Again,
I was.
that-
That was what I was teetering between. It was
I
that
think
or
that's my
Green
favorite.
Goblin.
as I rewatched them, I actually was pro Spider-Man 1 over Spider-Man 2.
I don't mind it. I'm like kind of there as well. I think
Yeah.
one is kind of more brutal in a way, and it's with it being just those two in that fashion. I do love that one.
Like,
so,
dude, it looks like they're getting like hit. Like it's
No, change
it's
it.
a
I wanna go
good
one.
battle.
change it. I want to go one, please. Thank you.
I don't know. I'll allow it, but I don't know.
Well, to be fair, no one
Why?
else could have taken it anyway, so it doesn't matter if I change it. It's fine.
It's fair.
George.
Damn it. I'm looking at like my favorites, man. I have so many favorite. This is impossible, man. I will go the Mission Impossible route, and I will
Damn
take
it.
the
Damn it.
Halo
I thought it was getting
jump.
back to me. Yeah. Halo
Sorry.
jump. Yeah. That's what
I
was gonna
really
take.
wanted the Halo jump on my board.
No, that's what I was gonna take. That's the best. Yeah.
So,
I thought it was gonna get back to me.
I will trade you the Halo jump for the Dragon Breath shotgun.
No, I
shootout.
think we're okay. I think I'm all right personally. Let's see. I will admit I probably didn't have like the best list prepared, but I had plenty in mind. I'm just seeing if there's anything I forgot about or something. Do I want to go the MCU route just yet? I'm going to eventually, and I'm worried it's going to get taken, like, or something from the franchise itself is going to get taken.
I think you're good.
That's fair. I probably am good. Okay, I'll take. I'll take. I believe this is my favorite of the MCU. I have two in mind. I'm trying to decide which one. I'm gonna, for time purposes, I'm just gonna go the knife fight, Captain America: The Winter Soldier,
Yeah, I think that's what I was
highway
thinking
chase
too.
scene. Call it the highway chase scene. I guess it's not the knife.
Dude, you
fight,
know what?
so-
You know what scene from the MCU I always love revisiting the first prison break scene from Guardians 1.
Oh yeah, dude.
I like-
Guardians is so Guardians.
Yeah, Guardians
I'm with
sick.
you, Seth. That's the best MCU movie. The other one I was debating on because I was going like action fight sequence rather than big epic battle kind of thing. The highway chase scene being one, the other one being the Shang-Chi versus I can't
Like the
even
silhouette
remember.
one.
Yeah,
Yeah,
when they're in the big building and the neon lights behind them. Yeah, that's a good one. I can't remember who the villain's name is.
Even the trains or the bus sequence in Shang-Chi is sick too.
Yeah. Ooh, I've got a good one. We'll see if it counts coming back.
I'm gonna go non-slop. You guys have too much slop for my liking here. This one's truly purely non-slop. I'm gonna go bank robbery from Heat.
Fuck you!
Nice.
Wow,
Bank robbery shootout from
interesting.
Heat.
That was the next one for me.
Bro,
And,
slop is
we'll-
so sick.
I know we're getting back to the slop. Don't worry. And we're gonna go the arcade motorcycle chase from Terminator 2 Judgment Day.
Nice.
I was just
That's
about
a
to take
great
the hospital sequence from Terminator 2 as well. That's
Yeah,
brilliant.
really, the whole movie could be chosen, just like Mad Max or Furiosa. But
I think what I just said that I got one. I think that'll get back to me. So I'm gonna go a franchise-ish. It's got a legacy sequel now, so it's slop. I'm gonna go with the end dogfight of Top Gun Maverick.
No,
Top Gun Midrick.
fuck.
Does say that actually though. It's good, Seth. Don't be like that, man.
Sorry,
Cam taking all my picks right now.
I might go all
Yeah.
top here actually.
Fuck. All right,
There are so many like low key ones. I kind of wish I didn't go to the MCU.
Yeah, I hate that my list is all slop. I'm not even gonna hide it, man.
Well,
my list
I mean,
is
what else? you gonna
all
do?
slop.
Everything becomes slop eventually, especially in the action franchise.
Yeah,
Heat's about to get a sequel. Tyler says it's
Yeah.
not slop.
It's
Heat
slop.
is about to get a
it's
sequel.
not
That's
slop
insane.
yet. It's not slop yet.
It's not slop yet, but like still, it's
It's
like
being-
it's
it's
crazy.
being
Everything in the
slopified
action
right
franchise
now.
gets a slop.
It's being slopified right now.
Yep.
Shit is slop as fuck.
George, not to rush you. I have 2 minutes. Go.
Yeah. I'm gonna go. I'm gonna go from. Oh my fucking god, where am I gonna go? All right, I just for time purposes, I'll go Revenge of the Sith. I'll go the Battle of Mustafar.
Fuck.
Overly long.
No, that's the best Star Wars scene. No, it's not. It's the second best Star Wars scene. My mistake. Sorry.
All right, Seth, you
Overly
can do your
long.
final 3 picks now. We're gonna give you back to back. back.
Here, I'm gonna go George. Well, I'm not gonna go George. I'm gonna go
Taking
George. I'm
one.
gonna go the hero sequence in the woods with the two
Okay.
women with all the beautiful leaves and colors and redness. Amazing.
Yeah, love
From
that.
what movie?
Hero.
No, that's hero sequence. I mean,
Uh,
then I will go for shit. Fuck. Can I take something from The Hobbit? I would not take something.
No,
from
that's
it.
Middle Earth.
It doesn't matter. The Hobbit shit. No, it's not. It's all right, actually. I'm arguing myself. Ignore me. I will take. Oh, let's go with Dune because George will take a Dune one. So
Yeah, that's fucked.
I'm
Don't do that.
gonna do that. I'm gonna take the
Good pick though.
what I call it in Dune 1. The kind of
The Battle of Arrakeen.
Yeah, I'll take that. That's the
I'm
one
sure
I'll take.
I would have gone with the just the knife fight between Jesus Austin
the
Butler
Fremen
and
guy,
Timothy
what's his
Chalamet.
name?
Yeah.
What's his name? Jamon. Jamben.
What?
That's
No, not
Fade
in the first
Rautha?
one. In the second one, Fade Rautha. And,
Oh, the second one. Oh, okay.
And Timmy, motherfucker. I can't think of Dune names. Speaking of, quick tangent. Seth, you go.
Wait. Let me go first. And then I'll go. Shit.
This is on your time.
I know. I can't find one. I'll go. I will go for. I will go for. I will.
Will
I believe you.
I
Take your time.
will go for. I will. Okay, I'm just gonna pick some random. I'll go for Yeah. No. Oh, fuck you, Cam. Fuck
Okay, I'm
you.
telling my story then.
No, okay, sorry. I'll go for.
Yesterday, I was at a local
No.
library.
I'll go for the end of Thief, the shootout sequence at the end of Thief. I'll go for that.
Yo, you guys are funny as fuck.
I would have finished my story.
Love you all.
Love
Bye-bye.
you, Seth.
All right,
Bye.
peace
All right,
out,
have a
Seth.
Yesterday I was at a library just with Bailey and Sutton, and we were
Bro
getting
reads.
2 books for my niece. It's her birthday today, so that's why I'm dipping out early.
Happy birthday.
So we're getting books for her. It's actually not a birthday today; it's a birthday party. Sorry, tangent. But they had like 12 movies in this like very small area of like people donated these, both Dune 1 and 2 on Blu-ray. I almost copped them. Frankly, I'm not a physical media guy, but I almost copped them. I was like, this is crazy. Yeah, probably. I'm not a physical media guy, I'll admit.
I'm gonna go to the DVD store today. I got nothing to do today, so when we're done recording, I'm hitting that DVD store. Just buying nonsense.
Hell yeah.
What's your next?
Back
pick,
to
George?
me. Damn, I really wanted that hero pick. I wanted John Wick. I wanted Dune on my board. I will go for the final fight sequence, including Flash reversing time in Zack Snyder's Justice League.
Oh, okay, no. I'm sorry. I thought you were going. I almost win it. I thought you were going the Flashpoint Paradox. And
Oh no.
I got excited.
Valid pick.
I'm counting this as action. Y'all can or can't. I'm going with the one-shot fight from Creed.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Why would we not count that as action?
I don't know. I don't know if we were going like. I don't know. Honestly, no reason.
That's Creed 1, right?
Yeah, Creed 1.
Yeah.
I would go
Creed
with.
3
We got it, Rock.
anime
We got one,
fight,
Rock.
though.
We got one. It's a good fight.
I will go with the movie that is studio interfered slop. It was never meant to be slop, but the studio made it slop.
Star Wars.
No, I'm going with the like one. I don't know what it's called. Like, I guess the showdown at the House of the Blue Leaves from Kill Bill Volume 1. Like Uma Thurman versus a million people. Was always supposed to be one movie. Was always supposed to be one movie, but the studio made it slop, so now it's two.
That shit big slop.
And for the final pick,
But only one movie, according to Quentin Tarantino, is only making 10.
yeah, so it was always intended to be one movie.
Yeah, it's so silly.
I will go with. You know what? We'll get something fun on here. I was gonna go something serious, like final fight scene, like Harakiri, but I'll do something fun. I'll go the church scene from Kingsman.
Nice. That's a great pick, actually. That's a
good
great
pull.
pick, Tyler. I forgot about the Kingsmans.
That's an electric pull.
I'm
Good.
I'm focused. I'm like hyper fixated on my like 5, 4.5, 4 movies. You know.
Yeah.
I gotta find some like lower tier movies that have like great action in them. I guess. So I'm gonna go with Uncharted now. This might be cheating a little bit, but can I take the whole quarter quill from Catching Fire? Like just
Sure.
quarter quill itself.
Sure.
All right, cool. Shout out Catching Fire. Best
take
100.
55 minutes of a movie.
I think it's got to be longer than that, right? Or no?
It's probably.
I'm sure there are better picks, but
All right. Yeah, I want some not diversity. I just want to pick films we don't typically draft. So I'm gonna go with the I don't even know what you would call it. The nuclear breath scene from Godzilla -1.
Hell yeah. Hell yeah.
That's good. That's good stuff.
That shit
Yeah.
fucks.
Yeah.
Literal bombs being dropped.
There's some great action from like
No extraction love in here. The 20-minute one takers.
Oh shoot! That's
Damn, I forgot
That's a good one.
extraction.
I just
I had
forgot
said
about
what
it.
I had Dumbledore versus Voldemort from Order of the
I
Phoenix.
almost did that. I thought it was like too
Yeah.
basic.
I had the
All
end
my
of
picks are
Pirates of the
basic, so.
Caribbean at World's End, the final battle with like the whirlpool
Where
going
he's
on.
like where he's walking and the ship's exploding. That thing goes viral on Twitter like once. a
really
week.
cool. I had a couple scenes from Jurassic Park, of course. I had some Pacific Rim scenes. All right, cool. So
The
Tyler,
end fight of Nobody is really good. I
Slop.
appreciate Tyler getting
Slop.
No, it's the same. It's on the same level as Heat. It's not slop yet.
Yeah.
not stop yet.
I almost took like, I don't know if this like is pure action, but like the first time you see the T-Rex in Jurassic Park of like, is that kind of
Yeah.
action?
No, that's not an action scene, but
Dude.
valid
That's
scene.
fine.
Not an
Valid
action
scene. Okay, cool.
I had the
Um,
kitchen sequence from Jurassic Park where they're
Yeah,
like
that would've
fighting.
Okay,
Yeah.
that counts better. That works for slop. for action. I almost had the Meg at the end when he fights the Meg.
No, you did not.
Well, I thought of it. I didn't actually think it was it probably wouldn't be top 20, but
I almost had the
thought of it.
Rocket League sequence from Fast X.
Fast X, yes,
playing car with the bomb with the car.
Yes, they did.
Riding down the Hoover Dam.
Would you guys have counted? Would you guys have counted the docking sequence from Interstellar?
No,
right?
It's more
it's similar
in the
to
Jurassic Park.
Yeah,
seeing dinosaurs.
Similar to the Avatar Way of Water end fight. Let's finish this.
Yeah.
Why not? I almost took Wind River, the shootout scene at the end. I'm actually mad I didn't take it because I thought of it for my first, but then thought no one's gonna take this, so I'll wait, and then got too in the weeds. That's a good one though. There are
a lot. I was too hyper fixated on my 5 and 4.5 star movies.
Yeah, I agree. I think I get into that. We didn't take anything from 007. Skyfall is a 5-star for me. I thought about
the first train sequence on Skyfall.
The first train sequence is awesome. Edge of Tomorrow has a lot of good action in it. Here's a poll. G.I. Joe: The Rise of the Cobra. When they get the suits, at one point. The only reason I remember this fight is they jump. I vividly remember Channing Tatum's character goes over the train and someone, what's his name? I can't remember who the secondary character is. He goes through the train and he's like, I went through the train. What'd you do? And he goes, I jumped over it. And he's like, you could do that? And I like that action scene. I always have since I was a kid. Now, no one took anything from The Matrix, which is crazy.
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
The
Matrix is a bad omission.
Lobby
Matrix,
scene.
Nothing from Blade Runner or 2049. I mean, there's not inherently action.
Those aren't super action.
Yeah, but still.
I think Sicario has that incredible dark shootout scene.
Yeah.
Man, that's a good movie too.
Yeah.
There's plenty we omitted, but only when you're only picking 20 movies. Obviously,
you're gonna have. Yeah, but all right. Tyler took the hallway fight scene from Old Boy, the bank robbery shootout from Heat, the arcade motorcycle chase from Terminator 2 Judgment Day, the showdown at the House of Blue Leaves from Kill Bill Volume 1, and the church scene from Kingsman, the Secret Service. Cam took the Dragon Breath shotgun shootout, the overhead shot from John Wick 4, the highway chase scene from Captain America Winter Soldier, final dog fight in Top Gun Maverick, the one-shot fight from Creed, and then the quarter quell from Hunger Games Catching Fire. I took the Battle of Helm's Deep from The Two Towers, the Halo jump from Fallout, the Battle of Mustafar from Star Wars Revenge of the Sith, the Flash reversing time scene in Zack Snyder's Justice League, and then the nuclear breath from Godzilla -1. And Seth took the War Rig sequence from Furiosa, the Green Goblin end fight scene from Spider-Man 1, the scene in the woods, or I believe that's the second story in Zhang Yimou's Hero. He took the Battle of Arrakeen in Dune, and then he took the end shootout in Thief. So let's move on. Let's run through what we've been watching before we move into trailers and news. Cam, we'll start with you. What have you been watching lately?
Yeah. I'm gonna get on my soapbox a little bit because I did watch the Lilo and Stitch remake this week. I had opportunity to go to the theater twice. If I would have known, I would have been too tired to see Mission Impossible. I would have flipped how I saw them, but it's fine. So I watched the Lilo and Stitch remake, and then also I'm going to talk Andor a little bit. So I'm gonna sit on my soapbox for a little bit. But
yeah,
other than that, been taking Emma through the Harry Potters. This morning actually we woke up at 6:30 with Sutton, so we just finished. We just finished Half-Blood Prince. Sorry. So I think she's into him. I think she's liking him. She's way better at guessing what happens than I was when I watched him for the first time, but I was 6. So, that makes sense, but, yeah, I think she's enjoying them. I tried rewatching all of the Mission Impossibles. I only got through 3, so that kind of bummed me out because again, watching TV at night now with Emma, like really takes away 90% of my TV watching time on my own. So I got through the first 3, which in my opinion are the worst 3. Sorry for that take. But I think I'll probably continue watching them and then go see Final Reckoning. Because honestly, I kind of forget what happens in Dead Reckoning. I only saw it once in theaters and don't really remember.
I know you weren't
much.
there for the review, but Final Reckoning, then like entire 45 minutes recaps the whole franchise. So
yeah,
you really
that's what
don't
I've heard. That is what I've heard, and that's like why people compare it to Rise of Skywalker and stuff, right? Yeah. So that's the general like what I've been watching, but gonna talk Lilo and Stitch for a second. Throw up the spoilers because it is different from the animated series. Let's talk where I'm going to count this all in the spoiler sections for Lilo and Stitch. If you haven't seen it, you're more than welcome to look at timestamps. One guy got very mad at us online one time for us talking way too much at the start and not getting to like Star Wars. I mean, we have timestamps, everyone. You can scroll on YouTube, you can look on Apple, you can look on Spotify. We got timestamps. But Lilo and Stitch, huge fan of the animated movie. I didn't rewatch it for this. I'll admit I've seen it a million times in my life. But I, definitely haven't seen it in a good while. I probably showed Bailey it at one point. I have it at a 4 out of 5, an 85 out of 100, which I'm going to change that to 84 because that's a 4 out of 5. So I don't know why it's not a 4.5, but we're going to keep it 4. I liked Lilo and Stitch. Big fan of it. Was a big fan of it growing up. But the remake came out. I was kind of excited for it. I actually saw decent reviews for it. And it's in my opinion not very good and not something I'm happy they remade. We'll talk quickly the positives. So Lilo and Stitch, directed by Dean Fletcher Camp. Hold on to your coconuts. The wildly funny and touching story of a lonely Hawaiian girl and the fugitive alien who helps to mend her broken family. If you didn't know what Lilo and Stitch is about, there's the synopsis. Let's talk positives. CGI Stitch looks good. CGI creatures look fine, look good. They do not look. There's a reason this is an animated movie and not a live action Lilo and Stitch movie originally. Because guess what? Animated, slimy alien creatures look weird, and kids probably don't want to see that. And yeah, you can make Stitch look cute, but Jumba in live action, yuck. Bleakley in live action, yuck. I don't want them. Slimy, gross. I can't imagine a kid goes and sees this and is like, boom, baby, you gave me Bleakley. Like, it just gross. Not a fan. I gave it a 32 out of 100. It's the first half of the movie, I would say, is like nearly a beat for beat remake. They add a couple characters, Tutu and then Mrs. Kakoa. So instead of having Bubbles be like the social worker, ex-CIA agent, he has a social worker with him now, and he's still an ex-CIA agent, but I don't know why they added a social worker. And actually I do, because they way over explain the social working universe of like real life Earth. Children don't need to understand how the social working community, how social work works. Like they don't need to know that. Unfortunately, there are a lot of kids in foster care, and there are a lot of kids that have gone through this situation. The idea of movies is not for them to understand you need insurance to get to have a child. The point of this is to show, hey, really bad things happen to kids, unfortunately. You could lose your parents in a car accident. But the point of the original movie, I think, is in spite of that, there is ways to form a family outside of that. There is ways to come back from that. There is people you can lean on to be a part of your life after, these tragic, horrific things happen. Not, hey, here's how social working happens, and we're going to do regular check-ins because you're a teenager taking care of a kid. Like, yes, This situation in the real world would not happen. A teenager, what's her name? Nani would not get custody of the kid. No doubt. An unfortunate reality of life. It's a kid's movie. This is a children's movie. You don't need that unfortunate reality of life in your children's movie. And like, I like Lilo and Stitch, but it's a children's movie. And it's so silly. Like the big spoiler is Nani gives up custody at the end of this movie. Insanity. The entire original movie is about Nani fighting for custody and them growing as a family and finding this love. And yes, it's unrealistic. Again, it's a children's movie. Her giving up custody is the most asinine and insane thing I have ever seen in one of these original in one of these legacy remakes. Like I get it. You can't do a beat for beat remake, maybe, but you can, because guess what? You did it for The Lion King and it made a shitload. And yeah, the unfortunate reality of it is all of these remakes are just soulless at this point. I was a Lion King defender when it was like the only remake, because guess what? It's the same exact movie and it looks incredible. The CGI in that movie is amazing. Yeah, it looks a little bland. That's why it's not as high as the original, but it's the same freaking movie. So I'm not going to say it's that much worse. But like, this is not the same movie, and it's a lot worse. They do the first like 30 minutes the same, but then like Nani doesn't even take Lilo. Again, I didn't rewatch the original, so I might not remember it perfectly. Nani took Lilo to the dog shelter to like console her and like try to be a part of her family. Nani doesn't even take Lilo to the dog shelter in this movie. It's their neighbor that they added in. Again, I got to find this name. Tutu, played by Amy Hill. Nothing against her, just a bad character addition. It's their neighbor Tutu that takes Lilo to the dog shelter to get where she picks out Stitch. Nani, not there for that. So like Nani just has this dog show up that's clearly obviously like Stitch and is an alien and is causing all this ruckus. Nani didn't even want this thing in this movie. So I just like I don't remember her avidly wanting it in the animated movie, but like at least she took her. It just makes no sense. And then also like Jumba, instead of, you know how like in the animated movie Jumba and Pleakley like fail at catching Stitch, so the Grand Master Emperor, whatever, sends down a new person to catch him. No, in this movie, Jumba and Pleakley like separate basically, and Jumba's still trying to capture Stitch, and then does, but then like Lilo sneaks on board to save Stitch instead of like the opposite where Stitch saves Lilo. It doesn't work. It doesn't make sense. And then at the end of the movie, when everything's resolved and the Grand Master Emperor, Grand Councilwoman, who is played by Hannah Waddingham, by the way, shout out Ted Lasso, shout out Hannah Waddingham. She like says, okay, Stitch, like I've seen you grow in your humanity. They have the Ohana scene, obviously, like they still have like those similar beats, but she grows in his humanity. So he's allowed to say. Then Nani just gives up Lilo, says, I'm going to go chase my dreams to go to UC California or wherever and be a marine biologist. And David, right? That's his name. Give me a sec. I got to remember it. Yeah, David. Okay, I'm on it. Takes Lilo himself. David is the same age as Nani if I'm not mistaken, from the original. So I don't fully understand that. And he's also, I'm pretty sure he's the same age in this one. I don't remember them exactly saying, but yeah, this Miss Tutu, the secondary neighbor, and David keep Lilo. So like not truly in the foster care system per se, but like that would fuck up Lilo in the head. Like she is a 8-year-old kid who's lost her parents, and now her sister gave up custody of her. It's insane. Just makes it makes no sense. Like frankly, there's a lot of general idea of like heritage and you know, saying that the system works, and like you change a lot of that about it, which, you know, I'm not going to get too in the weeds of like where I view that, but like not good either way. Like the fact that we just say the foster care system works, I'm giving her up. Unfortunately, the foster care system is not great and not well enough funded to work in the US. So unfortunately, that's just the reality of it. It's a kid's movie. It doesn't need that. Like, you don't need to give her up and then go chase your dreams maybe if you change it a little bit, they both moved to UC California or whatever. Why do they have to go to California for marine biology? Like, I understand she's chasing her own dreams, but do it in a different way. Don't give up the kid and like completely retroact the entire first movie. It does not make sense. It's
What did you give this
frustrating.
movie?
What'd
you rate this movie? Like 0 stars?
No, 32 out of 100.
Okay.
Good CGI. I like Stitch.
32
like
points
Stitch.
worth of CGI?
I like Stitch. I like the I think the actor who plays Lilo is she's good. She's fun. She's cute kid. I mean, like I said, the first 30 minutes are basically a remake, or the first hour, we'll say, basically a remake. I enjoyed that hour. I actually was like having an okay time, like making some jokes. We're, at a luau, like we're having a good time. Didn't like the rest of it. Frustrating. Like the first hour isn't bad. Crazy. This received like an A on Cinema Score. It's got like a higher Cinema Score than Mission Impossible: The Final Reckoning. You're fucking nuts.
I've been there a good chunk of my mutuals. I've been giving this like 3.5 stars on Letterboxd.
Let's see. Yeah, I cried 3 times.
I think movies, man. I'm
reading Kevin's. Yeah, I'm reading Kevin's review. Great job with the CGI. It's funny. Casting for Lilo is some of the best casting. I agree. She does very well. Doesn't match the original, but does a damn good job trying to replicate the magic. No offense, Kevin. No, it does not. And then like Harvey talks movies. He's like good friends with Josiah, good guy, but like says as good as if not better than the original. No,
damn.
Bubbles' character being separated into 2 people makes things work better, for example. I disagree. I mean, some people are liking it, no doubt. Some people are liking it, but I didn't like it. I genuinely don't see how we're okay with Nani giving up Lilo at the end. That's like the most asinine thing I've ever seen. Crazy. Wasn't a fan of Lilo and Stitch. Pivoting to other Disney related things that I really do love. George, take your headphones off if you don't want to listen to Andor talk.
Oh yeah.
I'm going to talk Andor for a little bit.
Text me when you're back.
Yeah, it'll be quick. We didn't get a full Andor episode in. Sorry to those that were asking for it. Andor season 2, just without a doubt the best Star Wars television project we've ever gotten. Andor as a whole, that is. I'm pro season 2 over season 1. I don't think that's a hot take, or at least the people I have personally talked to said that's not a hot take. But then I watched the Escape Pods video or episode, and they say the opposite, that they think season 1 is leaps and bounds better than 2, and they don't think that's a hot take, or everyone they've talked to agrees with them. I disagree, but obviously, people have their own opinions. I thought most people like season 2 over 1. Season 2 is just so goddamn good. They don't have, as powerful as speeches as actually they do. I take that back. There are very powerful speeches in it. Trying to pull up like a episode by episode thing so I can go through it. But basically the way this was released was 3 episodes at once, each week, which I quite liked. They basically do a time jump after every 3 episodes. I really enjoyed that. Some people are upset that like you don't see what happens, the year in between, but I think they do a good job at very briefly explaining what was happening. And, maybe, I think it worked in my opinion. The first 3 episodes are a little bit slower. They're obviously like setting the scene. Cassian's off doing his own thing. He's stealing a TIE fighter. People are on there. The Ferric survivors have gone to a different planet. I forget exactly where, but it's kind of setting the scene. And then they're setting up this Gorman plot line, which is basically the Gorman massacre that has been mentioned in a lot of like Star Wars media, specifically Rebels, has been talked about in like books and stuff, but now like you're seeing it on screen and the way it unfolds. And I think like the time jumping and like it not being till like the 9th episode, I believe, or is it the 8th? The 8th episode is like really, really great. And this entire show like is just basically, it's just a drama of what's happening behind the scenes. And that's just so incredible and so cool and so well done. And there are like people that are genuinely upset about that because it like doesn't feel like Star Wars. It feels like HBO. Good. I mean, like, I don't know what we want. Like we got one of the best shows, far and away the best Star Wars Disney project we have ever gotten. Without a doubt, the best Star Wars Disney project we've gotten. I'm not going to get into if it's better than Empire or A New Hope, but I think it clears everything else. I think Empire and New Hope probably still for me are higher up. But it's top 3 Star Wars projects ever. And people are mad that it doesn't like necessarily feel like Star Wars, even though people are yelling about Bantha fodder. So it's incredibly written. Tony Gilroy does such a great job with the series and like putting this thing together. The cast is so good. Like Adria Arjona is amazing. Obviously, Diego Luna. Kyle Solar plays Cyril Karn. Stellan Skarsgård is just incredible throughout this entire series, but season 2 is amazing. I got to find her name. Elizabeth Dula, first ever role, right out of acting school. First ever role is Clea. She plays Stellan Skarsgård's assistant, but by the end, like, because of how basically Tony Gilroy said, because of how amazing she was in season 1, he wrote her a bigger role in season 2, and she did not waste that at all. Like, she is so good, basically as this like hardened girl who's been through this entire like empire, been through this entire I'm trying to think like period of time is her entire life. All she's known is the Empire's reign, and so she's just very hardened, very strong, and just an incredible character. You have Deidre Mira, played by Denise Gao, this Imperial ISB agent who is just risen to power, and like she talks about behind the scenes, like how she watched a lot of different like women serial killers and how they act, and how they're way different than how male serial killers act. They're more methodical and like crazy inside rather than crazy outside, and like she based it off that. Awesome. So good. Like she's just amazing. Like everyone in this cast is fantastic. The episodes themselves, like I said, the first 3 are maybe not my favorite. But then as soon as you hit the second 3, I have ever been to Gorman. I have friends everywhere, and what a festive evening! Just as this Gorman massacre is rising and this Imperial reign trying to get the I forget exactly. It's calcite, synthetic calcite. I can hear Ben Mendelsohn just still saying that in my head. It's fantastic. But yeah, what they're trying to get is calcite from Gorman, and this like Imperial reign, and how it's just growing and how it feels like it's like bleeding out. And these people are fed up, and you start to see the resistance and the rebellion start to grow, like within, outside of the rebellion itself, but within this unit or this world, is just done so well. And I'm sad that like George didn't watch this. I'm sad it's not like the mainstream go-to Star Wars media project like that all Star Wars fans are rallying behind, because we need more shows like this and like seeing exactly what is happening with the Empire's reign and how the rebellion forms because of all the atrocities the Empire's committing. And basically the next, those 3 episodes are basically the build up to the Gorman massacre. The third 3 episodes, Messenger, Who Are You, and Welcome to the Rebellion, far and away the best arc of the show. If people have seen like the last 5 episodes, is the only time a show has had a 5-episode run of a 9.5 or higher on IMDb. Like it's genuinely like, you got to reach for that kind of statistic a little bit, but genuinely setting records as a show, like 5 episodes in a row all being 9.5 or higher on IMDb is hard to do. Like it's just genuinely so impressive at what they did. But this 3-episode run of Messenger, Who Are You and Welcome to the Rebellion, specifically Who Are You and Welcome to the Rebellion, the 2 best episodes in this season, far and away, in my opinion. Who Are You is just kind of this climax right into the Gorman massacre. You have Cyril Karn versus Cassian Andor for the first time, and Cassian has no idea, hence the name of the title, has no idea who Cyril Karn is. Cyril Karn's like entire plot line of the first season was trying to find Cassian because they know who he is, but they don't know what he's doing or what he's a part of the rebellion. And now that he's like full on in the rebellion, you just have like this amazing build up to them meeting, and it leads to almost to the line, "Who are you?" And it just kind of like blows you away because like it's such a simple thing, but like Cassian has no clue who this is, and Cyril is like his entire life that we've seen in the show is trying to capture this man who caused this, who originally stole that. I forget exactly what piece from episode 1, but it got under the Empire's skin, and like it's just so well done. And he realizes like, holy shit, this guy doesn't even know me, and has that moment of hesitation. And it's just like this buildup of the Gorman massacre. You see it like the K2 droids or KX enforcer droids are just ramming people, throwing them across the courtyard. We'll call it, is like crazy to see in a Star Wars thing. Like it is just people like getting bludgeoned to death. Unfortunately, like you're witnessing a genocide and a massacre of this planet. It's insane. And then like you get that origin of like K2SO, which is fun. But like before that, before he gets rebuilt, he's like a KX droid that's killing people left and right in this town. And just the like fallout of Deidre and Cyril in this, because like Deidre knows what's happening, but doesn't know exactly what's happening. They don't know why they're here. They don't know mining calcite is going to corrupt is going to basically implode the entire planet. Like they don't know anything like that, but like Deidre stays strong in it. Cyril does not. And like their fallout is done really well. And they're both insane. And then you get to Welcome to the Rebellion, which is like basically a courtroom drama of Mon Mothma deciding to go to the Senate and plead and call Emperor Palpatine insane for the Gorman massacre. And like literally all it is they're on Coruscant talking. And it's just incredible, the writing in this thing, because you feel for these characters, and you have fucking recasted Bail Organa, who's great in this, but like he's doing the same thing, but he's seeing this rebellion from his side, and he's like, we can't act. And then he finally has that moment of revelation where he says, blow the shit out of this place, to Mon Mothma. And she literally just gives a speech that is one of the best written speeches in Star Wars, just calling out Palpatine specifically for the Gorman massacre. And it's just really cool to see, like in this Star Wars universe, we can do like these very interconnected stories, but also it's very small story of just like literally a Senate courtroom scene, and her speech at the end, then Cassian and her finally interacting Cassian for the final time, saying he's out after this, telling her the title of the movie, but saying like, finally welcome to the rebellion, taking her to saving her, not taking her to Yavin, because they do that in the Rebels TV show. So they very simply like say, oh, she's going to get on a different ship, which we know is the Rebels team, which is cool. It's just fun. It ties into the animated show. It keeps all of that whole. Some people say it diminishes it, which is super weird, but like it makes that team whole, and kind of makes the story whole and intertwines really well. And you end with Cassian basically saying he's done with the rebellion, telling Bix, and I haven't even mentioned it, but like his and Bix's relationship has formed so well throughout this series, and like you really care for them and you really love them. And like the end, I believe it's the end of Messenger, episode 7, where they have this awesome scene of Bix finally getting payback for the torture that she was done. And they blow up the building, or maybe it's the end of What a Festive Evening. Yeah, that's it. Bix breaks into Gorst's new office. Yeah. So she finally gets her payback on Gorst for torturing her. And then her and Cassian walk away from the building, blow it up, and it's the coolest scene. They're their relationship is done really well throughout the series. But then at the end, when Cassian says he's done, he wants to run away with her, but she realizes that he's like way more important to this rebellion than he even realizes. So she leaves him like the most heartfelt message I think I've seen in a Star Wars project. Again, basically saying like she's not leaving him, but she's choosing the rebellion because she knows how important he is to the rebellion. She is going to hold him back, and she can't be the reason that he's leaving. And just like super well done, and comes full circle at the end, which we'll talk. And then the last 3 episodes, like I was just heartbroken to watch this show end, honestly, because of how well it's been done. But the last 3 episodes, Make It Stop, Who Else Knows, Jedha, Kyber, Urso, finally getting the fall of Luthen, basically. But you have this like crazy good standoff between Deidre finally finding Luthen, overstepping again, finally finding Luthen. He has this crazy, like, they basically have this standoff speech where, again, they're just like talking back and forth, but the lines are so well written and it's acted so well. It's not the Social Network level, because for like people like Tyler who's listening, like it's not the Social Network list level by any means, but like it's this very strong back and forth dialogue of, you're going to spend the rest of your life like begging, wishing you didn't do this or whatever. And then Luthen dropping the, you're too late. The rebellion's gone. It's flown away. It's not here. It's blossomed into so much more. And I forget exactly what he says, of like, you're going to spend the rest of your life, like wishing it hadn't, or something like that. I can't remember the exact lines, but their interaction back and forth, to Luthen finally like taking his own life so she can't capture him is insane. He, fails to take his own life, but that's kind of when you get the Clea episode, or the full-on Clea episode of her having to go to the hospital that Deidre is trying to save him in, and having to kill him, her father figure, having to kill him finally, for the rebellion is just, it's like, again, in this grand show of like showing the entire rebellion and how it comes to be, you get this whole episode is just about Clea trying to break into a heavily guarded hospital, and kill her father. Unfortunately, her father figure. Deidre's arrested. Stay on program, bitch. Gets sent to the prison that Cassian was in season 1. Then we move on to Who Else Knows. Deidre is interrogated by you get Krennic. Ben Mendelsohn is back. Basically, it's Cassian, Melshi, and K2 going to try to retrieve Luthen, who they think is sending this panic message, but really it's Clea. They go back to Coruscant to save her, and you have this plot of them trying to save her, and you get this insane hallway battle of these ISB agents coming to take them down. You get K2SO literally using a body as a protective armor, basically like using a human body to shield bullets, which is just insane. Again, for Star Wars, it's crazy that they went this far, and just how well it's done. Great episode, and just very intense. And again, I can't stress enough how great Clea is in this series, because again, she wasn't the biggest character in season 1. She got a lot more to do in season 2, and then these last 3 episodes are kind of her episodes, and she does just so well. And then the final episode, and just the way she's like, Jedha, Kyber, Galen Erso, Jedha. You have to memorize these. Like, she's just such a good actress. They finally get back to Yavin. You see it starting to fold into Rogue One a little bit more. You get this intense final battle. Again, they save Clea. They get back to Yavin. Clea doesn't want to be back in Yavin because like they've built this rebellion. Her and Luthen have started this rebellion and has grown to be so much more. But like Luthen's speech in the first movie, or first season, is that like he's damned for what he does. He has to stoop down to his enemy's level to do what he has to do. And so they don't really like him on Yavin because he's done so many atrocities in order to push the rebellion forward. But he really has started the rebellion. Him and Clea have started the rebellion. So she doesn't want to go to Yavin, but she reluctantly does. And you get this full circle moment of her kind of taking a breath at the end of series. Like, this is what we built, like, and it's done really well. And I've watched a lot of interviews of like Tony Gilroy speaking to that moment of like, they know they're not welcome here, but she sees how much she's done for this rebellion. You get like Mon Mothma, and you get the Council of Yavin, Mon Mothma, Bail Organa, a bunch of other people like basically not believing that they have this, planet killer, because they haven't been told exactly what it is. They just know it's like a mass weapon. Everything they've been, this energy project that's been like the crux of the season, has been a lie. And you folds really well into Rogue One. I watched them back to back. And it folds really well, and it changes your perspective on Rogue One. I didn't raise my score too much, but I cared about the characters a lot more, specifically Cassian. Obviously, has much smaller role, but some other Melshi is in it, and he's in the show, and K2 goes from show to movie, and so like you feel for those characters a lot more. Obviously, there's a bunch of new people in Rogue One, but basically Tony Gilroy was like, I didn't add them to my show because I'm not a cameo greedy man. I'm making a good story. I'm making a show that flows, and he just does really well with it. And then you see like Saw Gerrera's. They're looking for Saw Gerrera as they are in the movie, like in the show, and you again, it just flows really well into Rogue One. It's basically exactly how Rogue One starts is how Andor season 2 ends. But then you get the very final shot of Bix on the planet that she was on. I forget what planets. Mina Rao is the planet they're on. Bix is there, and she's holding her and Cassian's baby. And like you kind of realize that's why she left, is because she knew like that would take Cassian away from it, and she also had to protect this kid. And it could be this very silly, like, oh, of course she had a baby kind of thing. Of course, they don't mention that, but like it just brings the show really full circle. And that's the very last show is super important to it, and works so well. And Tony Gilroy's done a lot of interviews again on it, basically talking of how like he needed the show to end on a hopeful note. Like the show is very dark and very depressing and very much about like how the Empire's rising, but so is the rebellion. So he needed the show to end on like, hey, the rebellion's here and the rebellion's grown. And it's just a heartbreaking scene to see that what they've done. They saved Bix and Cassian's child, and they get to see the sunrise that Luthen kind of talks about in the first season, of like he's damned. He gives his life to see a sunrise that he'll never see, or he gives his life for a sunrise that he'll never see, in his big like monologue speech that I've watched 1.5 billion times recently. Like it's the best speech in the show far and away. But like you see that Bix sees that sunrise, and then also it's kind of like very intertwined with Cassian and Jyn Erso seeing the sunrise right before the Death Star blast comes, or the sunset right before the Death Star blast comes at the end of Rogue One. It's an incredible show, incredibly well written. Like I know, and I'm not the first to say this, but I know we're going to get more good shows in Star Wars. Disney is going to hit. They're not going to miss every single time, as we've seen. Like they're going to have hits. They're going to have good shows. I strongly believe they will never have a show like Andor. They will never have a small, close-knit show as a part of this bigger rebellion with no lightsabers, no Jedi, no Sith. No, they don't even show Emperor Palpatine, even though they mention him in the second season. Like they don't show Darth Vader. Like I don't think Disney will ever have an Andor. They have submitted for like the Emmy for best drama series. They've submitted every actor for best performance. They all deserve it because they are so good in this. Tony Gilroy's writing has been submitted for like best. Like we are never going to get a Star Wars show again that has this critical acclaim, has this much renowned love from like just general people. And like I said, like there are people like in the Star Wars universe who are like, I don't like it because it's not my Star Wars. It's not my slop. And I don't understand how we can't see both sides of it. And that's what really sucks. But frankly, this show, the great thing about this show is it has done numbers for Disney Plus. I forget the exact number of what they said, like 350 million subscribers to Disney Plus because of this or whatever. It's done numbers for Disney Plus. Like it's very, very done very well, and so maybe that like benefits it. But like we're not going to get a show like this. We're going from this to the Mandalorian and Grogu. Like that's the next Disney Star Wars project that we have. That is insane. That is absolutely insane, and it's crazy to me. It's heartbreaking that we're not. I'm heartbroken that I don't get to see more of this show. Like the reason some people are mad that it has time jumps is like the general original pitch was 5 seasons to do this show. That died very early on. That was just general talks. That died very early on and became a 2-season thing. I don't know if we could sustain like this incredibility for 5 seasons, but I would have obviously loved to see that, but I'm very happy with the 2. It's, don't be sad it's over, be sad it's happy. I'm very happy that I got this show. I'm probably going to watch through Star Wars again, especially after talking about it today, just because I love this franchise and I think this adds like an insane new element to it. And it's like I've never seen someone who's not like I'm, there are people, but I've never seen someone that I know or that I interact with and I personally think is credible that has picked up this show and not called it a masterpiece. I understand Seth is maybe not powering through it as much as he was when he started. And I'm sad that George hasn't watched. But like I think both of them agree that it's a masterpiece. They just haven't gotten around to it. And, maybe that's because they're not like super into it or extremely into it. But I think, if they latch onto it again, they'll finish. But like they would describe it as a masterpiece and probably the best project that Disney's done with Star Wars. Man, I loved Andor. It's so good. And I'm glad I got to talk about it right now. I was like tearing up talking to Bix and her baby at the end, man. It's just well done show. Hats off to Tony Gilroy and team. Here's one thing. Hats off to Kathleen Kennedy. She gets a lot of shit. She deserves a lot of some of that shit. But she, like Tony Gilroy has said time and time again that like she is the only reason this show got made. He was hoping COVID kind of killed it because he wasn't fully in it, didn't fully have the story. But then he said like COVID was a good reset for him of like he finally had enough time to put it through. And there were executives that tried to kill this show before it got made. Kathleen Kennedy rode for it and said that like it needs to be made. It's incredible. What he's done is so fantastic. And so, Kathleen Kennedy gets a lot of shit for the things she greenlights. And sometimes, it's valid because a lot of the stuff like the slop that they're putting out isn't great. But shout out Kathleen Kennedy for this because she was like a driving force in getting this thing made. Incredible. Someone else.
You caught your breath there.
Someone else.
That was
probably
sick.
It's probably like the least like. That's probably the most serious I've ever been on this podcast.
I was going to say, you really just locked in. I didn't expect to be gone for that long. I thought you were just going to do like a quick, like spoiler-free recap. And then I turned my headphones on for like 10 seconds in the middle of that. And I was like, oh shit, he's really going right now.
Yeah, I'm not joking about this shit. This show's...
I know. I have to watch it. I do feel bad that we didn't get to do like a bonus episode on Andor season 2. And I feel like that was a lot of me being
no, you're fine.
An asshole and not watching it. But I do need to watch it. It's bad that I haven't tapped in yet, especially given how positively everyone's been talking about it. Is that it? That are you done with what have you been watching?
Yeah, that's it. I'm going to the Indy 500 tomorrow. It's like
that's sick.
Oh, really? That's sick.
That's sick.
Yeah, it's the first time I'll ever go, or it's the first time I've ever been. I don't know if this will become a thing. I have good friends that go every year, and I'm gonna just kind of tag along with them. They're getting there at like 5 a.m. to like crazy stats about the Indy 500, like 350,000 people in the stands.
People do not fuck around.
250,000 in the stands, 100,000 in the infield. That's where I'll be. But like they have like a whole concert called the Snake Pit going on like in the infield, like during the thing. Like it's just, because it's like a 2-mile like area that they have. It'll be the second largest city in Indiana for the day behind Indianapolis, but like itself is like 1 in every 100 or 1 in every 1,000 people in the US will be there tomorrow. It's like kind of crazy to like think about the scale of it, you know. And I've just never been. I've lived here basically relatively my whole life, other than Chicago for the first like 8 years. Lived here for a long time and never been. So I'm excited to go. I think it'll be fun. I'll admit I'm going just to get hammered and not watch the race, but
just enjoy time outdoors.
Yeah,
who-
exactly.
Predict the winner. Who's winning? Without looking up any of the names of people in it.
Yeah, maybe Tony Kanon. I'd throw out some Helio Castroneves. I watch it every year. Like I know the big names. I have no clue where like they're at in their order, because I didn't watch like time trials or anything or qualifiers. But I watch it every year. My family does. My cousins normally come. My uncle. My grandma normally comes on my mom's side. That was like more when we were kids, but they were supposed to come this year. Unfortunately, I guess they had like a pipe burst in their house, so that sucks. So they're not, but it makes me feel a little bit better that I'm going to the race rather than hanging out with them. But like every year, normally they come and we do like drawing names out of a hat, and if your person wins, you get like $10 or something. But yeah, I'm excited to go. I'll probably watch like the last 50 laps or 20 laps or something. I don't know. But cars are going real fast and real left. Yee.
Real fast and real left. Fuck the Pacers, by the way.
Oh no, go Pacers. Also tomorrow is game 3 at home. Go Sirs, 2-0. Get fucked, New York. This is the Midwest city now, bitch.
In hindsight, doesn't it just look so silly that New York City flooded the streets and like had like riots for like
To make the Eastern Conference
for like winning the divisional round? That's like
people
George,
are,
it's like
people are-
Roland Garros. If your boy wins the quarterfinals, it's like you going streaking down the streets out of excitement. It's like, bro,
people
you're
are
not even
genuinely
close to the end.
People are genuinely not ready for an Indiana Pacers championship, an Indiana Fever championship, and a Purdue Boilermakers championship in the same, not calendar year, because Purdue will be next year, but in the same 1 year span. People are not ready for that.
It's funny because last year's NBA Finals, I'm pretty sure had like horrible views and ratings because like the Celtics it was just such a blowout.
Yeah, no
but
one
like
cares about the
Celtics, Boston and Dallas are two of the biggest cities you got in America. Like I don't think the NBA is prepared for the viewership a Pacers Thunder Finals is about to bring.
I think, dude, Indiana rides for its fucking teams, and I like.
They do, but there's not enough people. There's not enough critical mass. Even if every diehard Indianan is going to be watching.
That's fair. I think you'll see good things though. Indiana rides for its teams. Like I know New York rides for its teams. Like when they're in New York, but like New York doesn't give a shit to travel to Indiana. Like Indiana, we'll travel. We'll ride for our team. So like you're not seeing any of these big New York celeb fans coming to Indiana for game 3. Not a soul is going to be here.
You don't think Chalamet is flying to Indiana tonight?
Yeah, Chalamet ain't coming. Chalamet's a bitch. Timmy, come on the pod and we can talk shit. You're a bitch. I love your acting.
Okay. Tyler, what have you been watching?
Nothing. I've watched Tombstone for last week's Patreon review, and I watched half of Man on Fire, and I texted last night. I'm like, I'm falling asleep. I got to finish it in the morning. And then I woke up in the morning to finish it, and we decided to start the podcast early, so didn't get to finish it. So that's all I've been watching. Other than that,
I finished it during your Final Reckoning viewing again. I knew I had at least a half an hour or so, so I had the half hour. I was like, all right, I'm gonna go finish it.
Well, right, time-wise, we probably won't even get to that today for you to get out. So, but I appreciate the effort. But yeah,
people did not like my comments on Tombstone on like my letterbox saying that I don't think Kurt Russell or Val Kilmer look Western, and they threw me off the entire movie.
Yeah, well, since Kurt Russell's been in like a ton of Westerns, so I think that's where it comes from. But I think he looks the least Western in this because I think when he gets older, more grisly in like the 2000s Western.
Yeah.
And like Tombstone and Hateful Eight, he looks better. But I think in this, I get what you're saying. But yeah,
I didn't think that in Hateful Eight, but I did think it in this.
Mm-hmm.
The mustache was a bit corny in Tombstone.
It's just like mustaches when they're gray, just some reason look a lot more natural than a colored mustache. I feel like to be Western, like if you have a jet black mustache, it's like this doesn't.
It's corny.
Yeah, but
and I think Val Kilmer does not look Western. Sorry.
No, yeah, but he is so fun in that movie though. So. He was like Johnny Depp in a Western. But yeah, I've been watching nothing other than that. I don't even know. this week would have been, I mean, just a lot of work. It's been a really hectic time at work with my job. And obviously still trying to sell the house. Still no nibbles, no nibbles on the house. Been on the market for about a week. So, you know, the longer it takes, the more stress builds up and you're like, well, are we trapped here forever? So we'll see what happens there. So yeah, not a fun time in my life, but it's a long weekend and we're recording on a Saturday. So we'll finish this. And it's like, we got a whole weekend ahead of us. It's like the weekend hasn't started. It's not even Friday afternoon yet, time wise of what a weekend is. So, and Mondays, I'll always stand on the fact that Mondays off are far superior to Fridays off because the week back is a short week. So it's like a long weekend off, Friday, Saturday, Sunday. Then you go back, it's like, damn, I got a whole work week. Monday off is nice because it's like you start at a Tuesday, get rid of the Monday. But I don't really have any big plans this weekend. But
good take. It's a good take.
I mentioned the Yorkshire pudding earlier. Riley just made her first Yorkshire pudding ever. I stepped away during Cam's rant and tried it. Delicious. This is a nice little treat. Now, the thing is, what you British people do that doesn't Yorkshire pudding delicious, but then what they do is they put like mashed potatoes and like gravy and sausages. Like I don't need all that. That's just
they got to make it British and gross.
But Yorkshire pudding was delicious. But yeah, I haven't done. I don't know, man. It's like we say it all the time, but it's like crazy. We come on this podcast every weekend, and then you like look back at your week, and you're like, man, I really did nothing. But then also, same token, the podcast ends, and I'm like, I did all this stuff and didn't even I don't know. Like it's like you did way more than you think, and it's just whenever you're on the podcast, you just forget everything.
Yeah, I get it.
I'm with you.
Yeah, I get that. I was away last weekend. It was the start of like wedding season for all of my friends. So one of 9 last weekend kicked it off. A ton of fun. One of my good friends, Matt. So shout out Matt and Rachel. Beautiful, beautiful couple. Beautiful wedding. Beautiful day.
Victoria was walking into a wall and got 1 million views on
great
maybe more than 1 million.
It's at like 2 points. Unbelievable. I can make these movie videos that require some sort of effort and they flop. And then I make one video about eating ass and it gets near 3 million views. It's unbelievable. I hate TikTok so much. Sometimes. It's unbelievable.
I love that top comment. I was like, why is she walking?
Yeah, why is she walking into a wall? Honestly, when I was recording it, I wasn't even paying attention to where she was walking. I was literally just like, walk.
Did you just tell her to walk? Yeah.
She knew what we were doing, so she knew that she had to strut it a little bit. But I was like, just walk straight. And I honestly didn't even realize she was walking into a wall until I saw that comment.
Yeah, I was gonna say, I'm glad she knew what you were doing because otherwise I'd be concerned. Why is she just walking into a wall? And Jordan,
no.
How many drinks are flowing at this point?
It was planned. I sent her. I didn't come up with that video. It's a trend. I don't know if you've seen other people do the videos, but I had sent her a trend video of that like a week prior, and I was like, when you're wearing a dress at Matt's wedding on Saturday, we're gonna record this, and we did. So she knew. I got permission from her to post that. I'm not just posting eating ass jokes without Victoria's permission. All right. But yeah, the wedding was fun. Wedding was beautiful. I'm looking through my diary. I'm trying to think of the last time I was here. I watched Friendship. I don't know if you guys got out to see Friendship.
No, I want to see that so bad though.
It was funny. No, I won't say too much. It was funny. It was, if you've seen I Think You Should Leave, this is a feature film, I Think You Should Leave sketch. So if you like that comedy, if you like Tim Robinson, you're going to like this movie. If you don't like that style comedy, and you don't like Tim Robinson, you're not going to like this movie. It is that simple. I had a great time. I was laughing the entire time. I was giggling. I was chuckling. It does this could have very easily been like a 45-minute movie. I think it overextends its welcome a little bit, even though it really doesn't even clock in at like the craziest runtime. I think it's just around like the hour 40 mark, but could have easily been like an hour and 20 if they shaved off a couple of like minutes here and there. But it was fun. I had a great time. I like Tim Robinson. Cam, I did watch the Phantom Menace documentary, the beginning. I said this in my Letterboxd review, not even a documentary the way Empire of Dreams is. This is literally just a dude with a camcorder recording things. That's it. There's no it's cool.
Great.
It was really cool. Spielberg makes
it's really cool to like see like the technology that they're building and everything like
that. And even I feel like this documentary goes into like the finances of making a Star Wars movie so much more, which I was really cool. Like there was like one whole like
we can talk it whenever we do the prequels.
We'll talk.
I'm a fan of all those. Yeah.
So I won't talk about it too much. You need to send me the Attack of the Clones documentary because I can't find it. I don't know what it's called.
I don't remember. I guess I will be honest. I may have misspoke. I don't entirely remember.
I'm sure there's something out there that I'll find.
I know I've watched the Phantom Menace. I just
Hurry Up Tomorrow. I'm not going to spend too much time on this. This was a piece of shit. Holy self-indulgent vanity crap. I can't believe this movie exists. I can't believe I didn't give it a half star the more I think about it. This was coming from Trey Edward Schultz, who did Waves and It Comes at Night. So like a history of good films. And you come back 6 years later to fuel The Weeknd's ego in an unimaginably shallow and horrendous way. It was so hollow. It was so disgustingly self-indulgent. I'm going to say self-indulgent a million times while talking about this movie whenever we talk about it, because that's exactly what it is. There's literally, and I'm sure you guys have seen it on Twitter, that scene of Jenna Ortega dancing to Blinding Lights. Before, what you don't see in the Twitter clip is before she starts dancing to Blinding Lights, she spends about 5 minutes talking about why Blinding Lights is one of the greatest songs of all time. And then when she's done with Blinding Lights, the scene doesn't end there. She goes on to talk about 2 more Weeknd songs, talking about why he is this creative genius and why his songs are so important and transcendental. Dude, she actually
picks the worst projects ever.
It's unbelievable. It's unbelievable. And what sucks, this is what sucks, is that she's not bad in the movie. She's the only good part of the movie, genuinely. Like, she's the only part of the movie where I was like, all right, at least someone knows how to act. You guys, I'm sure, have also seen the clip on Twitter of The Weeknd saying, shut the fuck up, and screaming at, dude, oh my God, this movie was so funny in like the worst way possible. Not funny in like a, oh, haha, that's silly. Funny in like a, I can't believe I'm watching this insanely boring, lifeless, shallow, self-indulgent, over-stylized piece of shit. It is so unbelievably self-serving. I could not believe my eyes. I can't believe this movie exists. I genuinely cannot believe this movie exists. It is filmed. It is such a fucking Spring Breakers wannabe. Like, you're not Harmony Korine, bro. You cannot give us these vibey, I don't even know what to call them. These vibey, relaxed, sequences. There's no real like plot. Everything just kind of happens. Barry Keoghan is there for some stupid fucking reason. I don't know how he ended up in this movie. I can't believe this movie exists. I genuinely can't believe this movie exists. Nothing I can say will prepare you if you ever plan on watching it. Nothing I can say will prepare you for like how this film is shot, how this film is edited, how this film is structured, the acting in the film, how it's so over stylized and there's just no coherent storytelling. Like, this was an unbelievably dog shit experience. I can't believe this movie exists, and that's it. That's all the time I'm going to give this movie. Don't watch Hurry Up Tomorrow. And you know what sucks? Sorry, I'm not done, actually. You know what sucks is that before I watched this movie, I re-listened to his album, Hurry Up Tomorrow, because this is like the companion piece. Both are kind of serving The Weeknd in a way that basically tells his fans like, oh, I'm drowning in fame, I'm drowning in the spotlight, I'm so overwhelmed by the accolades and the international presence that I have. And I re-listened to the album, and I actually thought more highly of the album on second listen. Not too highly. I still don't think it's that great of an album. It is very over-stylized. The album itself is very overly cinematic and also annoyingly self-indulgent. But I re-listened to the album before I watched the movie, and I was like, oh, okay, I can fuck with these vibes a little bit. Like, where are we going to go in the movie? And then the movie just kind of takes that, overly cinematic charge and just ramps it up to maximum effort, and it's so bad. It's really bad. Okay, that is now the only time I will give Hurry Up Tomorrow. Fuck The Weeknd. Actually, I'm not done. I don't like The Weeknd. I really don't like that guy.
I haven't listened to The Weeknd since 2020.
Dude, it's crazy because like I like some of his projects. I like Beauty Behind the Madness. I like After Hours. Like I don't
like
think
After Hours. Yeah, I haven't listened since After Hours.
I don't think he's a bad artist. I just think he's this, again, self-indulgent. I'm gonna keep going back to that word. He's just this self-indulgent piece of shit.
Is he still the number one most listened to artist on Spotify? Because
probably.
He has been the past couple of years, and I've always been surprised by that because I'm like, I didn't know The Weeknd.
I'm always surprised. I don't know anyone that's a Weeknd rider, to be honest. I'm sure I know they are out there,
and they're not that loud because, like, obviously Swifties are like everywhere over the internet. But like, there's no Weekenders blowing up Twitter threads. They're too busy streaming.
I don't have any
The
friends that are like, my favorite artist is The Weeknd. I don't have any friends.
They don't
that
have time to go outside. They got to listen to The Weeknd.
Yeah, probably true. Probably true. That's how they're getting their Spotify numbers up. You got to pump those numbers up. That's The Weeknd.
Unbelievable stuff. I watched Almost Famous and Past Lives. Those were kind of my rewatches of the last week. Victoria had never seen Past Lives, so sat her down because we were talking about The Materialist and how we were very excited for it. And I was like, oh yeah, like, I love Past Lives. You've never seen Past Lives. Let's watch Past Lives. Still such a fantastic movie, man. I really love that movie.
Best movie about cucking.
And then best movie what? About cucking. Yeah. Dude, big cuck in that last scene. And then Almost Famous, I've spoken enough about. We did an entire Patreon episode if you guys want to go check that out. I watched Dragonheart. It corny little like fantasy film from '96 starring Dennis Quaid, and Sean Connery voices this dragon.
What made
it's
you
hilarious. What
made you throw that on?
One of Matt, my buddy who got married last weekend, one of his friends who I had met for the first time, she came up to me and she was like, oh, I hear you're a movie guy. I have a recommendation for you. You should watch this Dragonheart movie. And I was like, okay, I'll watch it. Sure.
I really respect you for doing it. I've had so many people tell me that sort of thing. I don't think I've ever taken a recommendation. I'm sorry. That's rude to me.
The thing is, I do rarely take recommendations, but we got home Sunday, the day after the wedding, like midday, and Victoria and I were just exhausted. So I was like, I'm just going to sit on my couch. And I didn't even know what to watch. And I was like, all right, let me just turn Dragonheart on. It's a quick movie. It was like an hour and 40 minutes. So I was like, let me just throw it on. It's not great. It's cute. It's cute. It's a little charming. It's kind of weird. Like the computer animations for the dragon is like really jarring and off-putting, but it's fine. It's cute. Dennis Quaid's cool. Sean Connery's voice is always cool.
Now I'll admit this though with the recommendations. Like obviously I take recommendations from like movie people online. I've seen a fair amount of movies. I've not seen any. I think I'm far and away statistically on Letterboxd, at least, like I've seen the least movies on this pod. Anytime someone like outside of the movie world, like a coworker or someone recommends me a movie, it's like, hey, you seen Fight Club? And I'll be like, yeah, I've seen Fight Club. Yeah, it's good film. Or something of that nature. So like throwing out a Dragonheart, I've never even heard of this movie is impressive. In the wild, a Dragonheart, that's impressive. In the wild, I don't get much movie recs.
it was a weird recommendation, weird pull. Fun to watch, but yeah, I don't.
Sure.
Like my friends like clown me because I never take their recommendations. So they weren't too happy when they saw that I took some random recommendation from some random person I had never met in my entire life. What else? Man on Fire we'll talk about, and then the new season of Love, Death, and Robots. How much time? We're already at 2 hours.
Here, clerical talk here. I have to leave in about 17 minutes.
Okay.
So I don't think we're necessarily getting to real quick, but I think Monday, if you guys aren't doing anything, I am coming back to my parents to like hang out with them. I didn't know if you had time Monday to maybe do the real quicks.
I could do both on Monday, yeah.
But also I want to give you your soapbox for Love, Death, and Robots. Can we go movie news trailers, then back to Love, Death, and Robots? Is that
let's do that. Yeah, let's do that, and then we'll wrap up. All right, trailers. We'll start with trailers. Did I miss a couple? What did I? All right, well, let's go with the ones I saw, and then I clearly I missed something. The new trailer for the It prequel series on HBO, Welcome to Derry, has been released. I'm excited. I like the look of the trailer. I really like It Chapter 1. I like It Chapter 2. We've talked about this before. I know a lot of people are not that high on It Chapter 2. I like it. I think it's a fine movie. It certainly doesn't come near It Chapter 1, but I'm going to be excited to be back in this world. I really do enjoy this lore. Anything from you guys for It?
I actually like it. I like the It's.
I don't like it, but we know.
I was about to say, I'm talking to two non-horror folk right now.
No, I think it's pretty good. I like the first, and I'm fine with the second. It Welcome to Derry. It has Bill Skarsgård back, right? So that's something, I guess. But like, it's a legacy prequel, right? Will this be any good? We'll see.
Hopefully.
See. But it's got Bill Skarsgård back, so at least it will look good.
Listen, I put my faith in Max, HBO Max now. Actually, I put my faith in Max. We got a first trailer for the next Aronofsky film called Caught Stealing, which stars Austin Butler, Matt Smith, Zoe Kravitz, and Bad Bunny. I think this trailer. Are you raising your hand or are you?
No, I'm stretching and I feel like it looks like I'm sweating. I don't think I am.
I thought it's just quickly raising your hand.
Yeah, sorry.
I thought the trailer was good. I think it's fine. It didn't do anything for me. I'm not gonna lie. I don't know if you guys sit higher on it than I do, but I'm still excited. I'm big on the Austin Butler train. I'm big on the Matt Smith train. I'm big on the Zoe Kravitz train. Bad Bunny was funny in Bullet Train, but this seems like obviously a different outing for him. So I'm excited. But the trailer just didn't necessarily do anything for me.
Yeah, it looks fun. I mean, a bunch of people I like in a movie. I like Darren Aronofsky movies, even though he's like an AI shill now, so he sucks. But the movie looks great, so I'm excited.
Yeah, I think I like this Austin Butler renaissance we're in right now. It feels like he's going to be in everything.
He's picking cool projects, which is great for him.
He's got I was going to say he's got to talk to Jenna Ortega and give him some of that, clarity. Like, holy shit.
But yeah, I'm excited.
We got our first trailer, something I'm very, very excited for, to season 4 of The Bear, which will release later next year.
Every episode.
Yeah, every episode drops at once.
It's later this year. It's like in a month.
Oh, is it? Right? What did I say?
You said later next year.
Yeah. Oh, no, this year.
Month,
it comes out soon. Yeah, that's my fault.
Like end of June, right?
Yeah. This comes out coming up, I believe.
June 25th. So
I'm excited.
Today.
I've upheld the opinion that I think since season 1, this has been the best show on television. I don't think anything is, really
Andor better.
I haven't seen it, so I can't say. But like things have come close. Obviously, I loved Succession. Obviously, I love House of the Dragon. I really liked X-Men '97. But The Bear just does something to me. It unlocks a large chunk of emotion, and I really love Jeremy Allen Wright in this. I love Ayo Adebri in this. I love this whole cast. I love this whole setting. It's very chaotic. I love season 4 trailer. I really liked what I was seeing. After season 3 ended, I was very curious what direction we were going to go in season 4, and it kind of it seems like it's going down that direction of if we don't get our ratings up and if we don't make this much money, we're going to close shop, and that's going to just translate to a lot of chaos and anxiety in this season, as every single season of this show has been. I'm pretty sure we've done a season recap for all 3 seasons. So I'm going to be very excited to jump back on for season 4 with you guys and talk The Bear, because it is my favorite show on television right now.
Yeah. Big Bear head. Big fan. Good show.
Okay, those were the only trailers I had down. What did I miss?
You missed Jurassic World. Jurassic World.
Had a
full trailer.
Right.
Had a full trailer this week. Looks fun. It's very Jurassic Park 3. Like Jurassic Park 3 was like, this is the second site. And now this is the original Jurassic Parks where they sent the animals that were too dangerous or something like that. And so like, it's just very, very silly. It's like, it's not Isla Nublar. It's not Isla Sonar or whatever the secondary site was in Jurassic World 3. So I forget which island it is, but just silly. Looks fun though. I'll be honest, man. Anytime the last one sucked, but anytime you get a dinosaur in a movie, I'm gonna be pumped. And we're getting Bailey really into dinosaurs right now, so we've been showing him like some clips on Prehistoric Planet, which by the way, great doc. Not sure if
Yeah.
you watch Prehistoric Planet. Great doc. I never watched the second season. I should. But just very, very. Anytime you see a mosasaurus like swim next to a boat and then knock the boat, I'm like, yeah, I'm locked in. I do the lock in meme, man. I'm excited.
What else did I miss? Was that it?
No, you missed Zootopia 2. Less big, but Zootopia 2 had its first trailer.
I didn't even know we got a trailer. What the fuck?
Yeah, Zootopia.
Was I just not on? I guess I just wasn't on Twitter this week.
Not chronically online. You had a real life. Nice. Zootopia 2 looks fine. I like Zootopia. It's a cash grab, sure, but maybe they make it a good one. We'll see. Like Inside Out's good. 2 is good. So
hell yeah. I mean, I like Zootopia.
I'm fine if they do cash grabs if they try and make them good. That's all I'm asking. Is that too much? I don't think so.
It's not a lot.
Yeah.
And listen, slop is inevitable, but at least try and make slop good slop. Inside
exactly.
Out too, good slop.
Exactly. So they tease a mystery villain that no doubt is just a human being.
For sure.
That's what the plot of it is going to be.
All right, we'll move to movie news.
Can I say the 2 you missed real quick because they're kind of big news in the slop world?
Yeah.
Avengers, Doomsday, and Secret Wars were both delayed by about 6 months. They were delayed both to December releases. Yeah, which is crazy.
Doomsday and Dune 3 on the same day, which will not hold up. Yeah, I don't think that'll hold up. I think one of them, likely Dune Messiah, will get pushed.
Dune will change, no doubt. Yeah, unfortunately, you do not. Unfortunately, you can't compete with Doomsday. Crazy though. As of now, and maybe something changes at Comic-Con or something, but I don't know. As of now, we're going 17 months without a Marvel movie. It'll be Fantastic Four, 17 months, and then
what happened to the new plan of like 3 movies a year?
Yeah, right. They just said like there are 3 movies. That might be like once they get to X-Men, that's their plan. I don't know, but 17 months, that'll be a longer gap. I could be wrong about this. I think it was only a year though between Endgame and Black Widow. That's it. Yeah, that'll build hype. That'll build hype in me, no doubt. Like I'll be excited to get back to it. But yeah, I think that's just interesting that like they're willing to do that.
I'll be excited.
It'll go Fantastic Four, Doomsday, Spider-Man, brand new day now will come out in between the 2, whereas it was supposed to come out after, and then Secret Wars. So. Yeah, I think I like if they might throw in a Doctor Strange movie that they've been working on or something. I don't know, but as of now, that's what's announced. So
what about White Vision? Isn't White Vision coming?
White Vision's a TV show though.
I don't know. Is that confirmed?
Yep, it is.
Oh, okay.
It's Wonder Man, Ironheart, Wonder Man, White Vision are confirmed, and then I honestly think after that the TV shows will die. We'll see. The live action TV shows connected to the universe. They've already said they're going to do more like Spider-Man Spider-Man freshman year and like X-Men 97-esque shows where they don't intertwine so much. Marvel Zombies. Yeah, that's TVMA. So that'll be something. Where they don't like intertwine with the universe a ton. But I think the live action interconnected movies will die after White Vision is my prediction.
Interesting. I don't know if Marvel will ever die.
No, Marvel won't. I just think they'll kill the live action TV shows.
Speaking of sharks, we'll skip to the biggest news of the week. We got our first look at Dangerous Animals starring Jai Courtney, which is a film that follows a woman trapped with a serial killer who feeds his victims to killer sharks in the middle of the ocean. That's the funniest thing I've ever read. That's hilarious. Jai Courtney's funny as fuck. So
Jai Courtney's a funny film.
All right, jokes aside.
Why'd you start there?
Because we were talking about sharks, and I was like, how?
I was looking for where this like came all the way at the bottom. Now it's at the very bottom.
All the way at the bottom.
Dude, this is so a movie I'm gonna get Emma to go see. Or it's got to be streaming, right?
It's probably.
I think it's a theater.
Is it a theatrical release?
All right, Emma and I will be there opening night.
That's fucking wild. Cillian Murphy and Daniel Craig are in talks to star in a prison drama with Damien Chazelle set to direct. That's awesome. Yeah, hell yeah, 2 thumbs up for sure. That's
up.
fun as fuck. I mean, I'm sure everyone in the world is eager for a Damien Chazelle return, whether it, whether this is his next project or within 2 projects, because I think they scrapped Evel Knievel. I might be
No, it's still
about
going
that.
forward, but Leonardo DiCaprio dropped out to do a
Okay.
Martin Scorsese movie, which is
Yeah.
so lame and cowardly. Like
Yeah,
I love Scorsese, but it's like it's basically I don't know. It's like there's no risk from Leo. Even though I think he's doing great work, Leo is not doing a single risk.
Are you hearing this, George?
Yeah, I'm hearing it too.
Okay, Tyler might have just cut out.
Tyler just went techno for about 45
I think
seconds.
we lost Tyler.
Okay. You hear me now?
I can hear you. I can't see you.
Yeah. Say something.
Say what you were going to do.
Interesting. Am I back? I don't know. Everything
Well,
seems
no,
good
you're
on
still
my-
techno.
Yeah, you're still
still
techno.
techno.
Yeah, you're still cutting
You
it
guys
out.
carry it forward then. You
All right,
guys
we'll
carry
carry.
I mean, I got what he was gonna say. What he was. I'm assuming what Tyler was gonna say is you've worked with Scorsese so many times. Like, why would you not want to wrap Damien Chazelle, in that list of incredible filmmakers that you've jumped on board with. A Damien Chazelle, Evel Knievel,
But also, this could be
starring.
like Scorsese's last movie.
Yeah, that too. Yeah, that too.
Help a friend out. Give him one last great performance.
I mean, maybe it's a good showing of loyalty there, but I don't know. We got like the news drop that Leo was doing the Evel Knievel movie with Damien Chazelle, and Twitter exploded.
Yeah,
obviously, rightfully so. Twitter exploded. Do we? We might, but do we even know what the Scorsese film is?
I don't off the top.
Okay.
There's
of
like
my head.
8 in the hopper.
It's which one? Yeah, he's got a bunch.
He's
right?
got
'Cause
like a billion in the works.
Yeah,
who
he's
knows?
doing the Jesus movie as well. He's got Scorsese. I don't know how he's not done yet. He's like 89 years old, right? He's old as fuck.
Still making TikToks.
Still making TikToks. Yeah. Big news of the week also is we're getting a lot of casting announcements for the Hunger Games. Ooh, excuse me, I just burped. For the Hunger Games Sunrise on the Reaping. We're getting Elle Fanning has been cast as Effie Trinket. We are getting Kieran Culkin, who has been cast as Caesar Flickerman. And then we have Ray Fiennes, who has been cast as President Snow.
Sorry to cut you off real quick, Tyler. We asked last week because I didn't know how are these these make more sense, but like how are older tributes coming back? It was a pretty obvious answer that we probably should have known. It's like basically the exact same thing as like Haymitch in the original Hunger Games is they're coming back as tribute mentors, which makes sense. Probably could have guessed that one. But we talked some of these castings last week, George. I don't know. Did you read Sunrise on the Reaping? Not these ones specifically. These are new, but a lot of the casting. Did you read Sunrise on the Reaping?
I did not.
Yeah, none of us have. We had some questions. The comments helped us out, so I appreciate the person telling us what exactly they were doing back. But yeah, I mean, Kieran Culkin and Elle Fanning, hell yeah.
Hell yeah. I need, you know what I need, man? Just while I'm thinking about it, we need more Dakota Fanning in our lives. Like, I just watched Man on Fire. She's great. I got Uptown Girl is one of my favorites. She's great in that. Need more Fanning sisters collabs coming out.
This casting sent what is it? Synesthetic or
Synesthetic?
Yeah, Synesthetic on a rampage of Elle Fanning horny pictures. Man, this sent him on a rampage last night or last
horniest Twitter account out there.
Oh my god, he's crazy. I think I don't remember if I said I don't like Kieran Culkin in the real quick that we had this week. I like Kieran Culkin a lot. I just stand by the fact that he is the exact same as Ryan Reynolds, and people hate Ryan Reynolds for doing the same shit he does. Yeah. And I like them both, but he's exactly just a jackass. He's a bit of a jackass in press conferences where he's like, I don't know, I don't care. I just, I woke up and acted, and I don't know why other people are taking this seriously. And it's like, that's kind of how I would probably act too in the Hollywood sphere. So, I like him. I don't know if I said I didn't. I wanted to clear the air. I like Kieran Culkin. He just acts like a jackass sometimes.
No, he is a jackass, and he is
the tweet though that was like, may the odds be ever in your favor or some shit.
Yeah, or some shit. That made me crack.
That tweet was so funny because like if he was allowed to do his thing, that's what he would say.
It was so funny. Yeah, that was a funny.
Hearing him in a show not just swearing out like crazy is gonna be insane.
Dwayne Johnson will star in a new psychological thriller, Breakthrough, for A24. The film follows a young man who comes under the influence of a motivational guru who uses morally questionable methods of manipulation. Are we seeing the Dwayne Johnson assance right now?
He's kind of renaissancing.
He's
on
kind
it
of
right now.
The Rock
He's
assance.
like,
when are we getting a Dom Toretto assance?
Yeah, when's Vin Diesel?
Vin Diesel assance.
Where is Fast 11? We've heard nothing about
Where
that.
is Fast 11? Yeah,
let me tell you something about Fast 11.
I care.
Who gives a fuck?
I
No,
do.
you don't.
Yes, I
no,
do.
You
I care just to see what they do. Just to see what happens.
Come on.
I'm invested just to kind of see.
I
But
know
shout
Vin
out Dwayne
Diesel.
Johnson.
Vin Diesel
Just to
watched
see
the Final
that thing.
Reckoning, and he's like, "Oh, that's cool. They're doing a submarine in the Arctic thing. Yeah, I remember we did that one a couple
We
movies
did
ago,
that
but
3 movies
looks
ago.
like they're
Yeah.
finally catching up."
Fucking idiots. That, by the way, that's Fast 8. By the way, Fast 8 has the song, I think it's by Becky G, of like, "Raise a cup up for all my haters." That one, it's a banger. It's a bop. So shout out Fast 8 for that specifically. That movie coming out after Fast 7, I thought was going to be so good, and it was so bad.
Yeah. Something
Didn't
I
Gal
thought.
Gadot in the last one come out on a submarine in the Arctic, Tyler?
Yeah, that's what I'm saying.
Oh no, they did it in Fast 8 too.
Yeah.
So they did it twice. Oh man, okay.
God, man, it's not
Crazy.
I hate this franchise. I thought I got disbussed. All right, see ya.
I love y'all.
Peace.
I'll see ya.
We got our first look at Skibbity Toilet, directed by Michael Bay. I thought I got disbussed for a second. I genuinely thought this was a disbussing film, but no, this is real. This is a real film that Michael Bay is going to be making. I'm pretty sure he released some like very small promo that was entirely generated by AI.
Yeah.
And he was like, the movie's not going to be AI, by the way. Zero AI in the movie. But here's this AI promo for you guys here. So this is, I don't know. This is weird. It's Michael Bay, though. So
Yeah, dude is checked
I don't
out
know.
at this point.
yeah, he's checked out.
'Cause, like, if you remember, like the ambulance press tour, he was like saying, he's like, yeah, the CGI is kind of shit in this movie, but it's whatever. And like, he just doesn't give a fuck anymore about his movies.
No, he does not care. He tapped out after fucking like Pain and Gain or something. Catherine O'Hara says The Last of Us season 3 will focus on Abby's story. That excites me. I am excited to see more of Abby and more of hopefully the Fireflies. We haven't really talked The Last of Us too much in our Real Talk episodes. I'm pretty sure we'll just wait to do like a full season recap episode as we did, I believe, for season 1.
Yep.
Lot of thoughts rummaging through my head, a lot of negatives, a lot of positives. But we'll discuss that down the line. Chiwetel Ejiofor and Kristen Milioti are in talks to star in the Backrooms movie for A24. And the Backrooms is that short film which was directed by Kane Pearsons. It's a short 9-minute YouTube horror found footage short. I believe we had. So I looked back in our ReelTok group chat because I was so sure that we talked about this at some point. And the answer is we did. We had discussed this exact news February of 2023. So something had happened where that production was delayed. But now, we have actors and actresses attached to the film. We have confirmation that Kane Parsons, who directed the short film, is going to come back and direct the feature film. I watched the short film.
If you remember, Kane Parsons is a high schooler. He's a young kid. So
yeah, he was 16 when we had talked.
So that's why, like in the group chat, like I think Kate Meeks or Doug was like, "Why haven't we heard any more about this?" And like someone else was like, "Probably because he had to like finish high school."
He had to graduate high school.
Bro had class. He couldn't work on this.
Literally had to finish high school. But the short was cool. It was fun. Found footage short about this like guy that gets like trapped in like these like back rooms, literally. Yeah, it was terrifying. It was scary. There was like that little machine thing that was attacking him. It was scary. So I'm excited for this. I love Chiwetel Ejiofor. I love Kristen Milioti. So I'm excited to see like how this kind of turns out and how we adapt this into a feature film. I will say, as I was watching the short film, most of my thoughts were, how are you going to adapt this into a feature film and not like have people not immediately compare you to Cabin in the Woods, because those were kind of the vibes I was getting a little bit. But but I feel like that's a stupid thing for me to think. But we'll see.
Can't even imagine being like 16 years old and like being like, yeah, you got to direct like Chiwetel Ejiofor and Kristen Milioti. I'd be so intimidated.
I'd be so scared. Like she just
Yeah.
won a fucking SAG award. Like
Yeah.
it's fucking frightening. Alejandro G. Iñárritu says his new movie with Tom Cruise is actually a wild comedy of claustrophobic proportions. Catastrophic proportions. Sorry.
Kind of completely opposite words if you think about it.
Super opposite. Yeah, that's my bad. I think I saw C and fic at the end. I just thought it was claustrophobic. The film follows the most powerful man in the world who tries to prove he is humanity's savior before his own disaster destroys everything. Very cool. Iñárritu is such an interesting filmmaker because he won Best Director back-to-back for Revenant and Birdman. Disappears for like 3, 4, 5 years, comes back with Bardo, which wasn't really critically received, wasn't really this, Birdman, Revenant level successful film critically or commercially. And now he's, pulling out Tom Cruise, who is just the box office filling seats king right now. So just like an interesting like timeline of like Iñárritu is like 10 plus years in the industry right now, because he's like one of 3 best directors to win or he might be the only best director to win back-to-back best directing accolades, which was just nuts. But yeah, this is exciting. I mean, an interesting concept. We don't really know much except for everything I just mentioned about the Tom Cruise and the brief description and the synopsis. But it's Tom Cruise. It's Iñárritu. It's people I trust. SAG-AFTRA has filed an unfair labor practice charge against Epic Games for its use of AI for Darth Vader's voice in Fortnite.
What a sentence.
Yeah. Insane sentence, but also cool. Like it's good to see them like pushing back on this nonsense. Even if it's something as, I don't know, I don't want to say like inoffensive or harmless as Fortnite, but you still, James Earl Jones passed not too long ago, and his estate and SAG-AFTRA, I believe, still own the rights to his voice, because I believe there is a clause somewhere where he agreed post-death, feel free to use my voice in the capacity necessary, but someone owns that right. And I'm not entirely sure who exactly owns that right. It's certainly not Epic Games and Fortnite. I'll tell you that right now.
I didn't read fully into it, but I know his family, I think, like okayed it with Epic Games, like you can use it, but like SAG-AFTRA, basically like SAG-AFTRA allows for families to be able to like allow their deceased to like, basically if you have the rights, you can do stuff, but you still have to like go through like a SAG-AFTRA channel, because at the end of the day, it's still like part of it. So I think basically it sounds like if like the family goes through SAG-AFTRA and they like approve it, then like Epic Games can still use it, but it sounds like they just didn't go through the right channels to make it happen.
Yeah.
So we'll see, but it's still cool that at least like it's not just being brushed under the rug.
Yeah, very cool. I honestly, I didn't even hear the voice. I didn't. I'm not a Fortniter. Yeah, neither am I. So I'm surprised that it didn't even make its way to Twitter for me to even check out what it sounded like. But right, that'll wrap up news and trailers. We are pushing the 3-hour mark, so I'll push Love, Death, and Robots to next week, because I do want to yap a little bit about like every individual episode, and I think that could take me like 20 minutes. So
what even is next week? What is the movie?
Yeah, what comes out this week?
I mean, gotta be something big, right?
Yeah, I mean, the only thing.
It's just not. Is Bring Her Back next week and Karate Kids Legends. Phoenician Scheme has a limited release. We'll probably wait a week later till it's wide release.
Oh yeah,
so
I'm
next week will just be the new Lilo Brothers movie. Bring Her Back. We are not going to talk Karate Kids Legends. Yeah, next week should be not. I mean, I'm excited to Bring Her Back. I think it'll be good, but I don't think it'll be Mission Impossible length of discussion. So yeah, Love, Death, and Robots. Maybe how many episodes? Maybe I'll watch before.
There's 10. I mean, I blew through them yesterday.
Most of them are pretty quick, right? They're like
I think like 4 of them are under 10 minutes, and then everything else is like 16, 15, 14 minutes. So it's quick. I literally binged the entire thing in the 2 hours prior to the Knicks game yesterday.
Okay. But sounds good. Comment down below if you want to see me and Cam watch Love, Death, and Robots for next week.
Yeah, I mean, binge it. I mean, quick review. I would love for you to obviously binge seasons 1, 2, and 3, because I don't think season 4 is as strong. But if you want to binge season 4 so we could talk about it next week, do so, because I want to run through like episode by episode because you guys know how much I love Death and Robots. But all right, that'll wrap up Real Talk. I was about to say real quick. Jesus Christ, 3 hours. Real Talk episode 142, 3 hours of yapping. If you made it this far to the end of the episode, comment down below. Let us know your ranking of the Mission Impossible franchise, and also throw in what your favorite Mission Impossible stunt is. Shout out, as always, to our executive producers, Mr. Stefan Johnson, Cody Whitney, and Cole Beaver. We will see everyone on Thursday for Real Quick, episode 214. And then we will see patrons on Friday for Real Patron exclusive review, episode 70. We will be talking Denzel Washington, Tony Scott, and Man on Fire. Peace.